on his television program as he related the story of his teacher, Mr. Laswell, who felt his students had come to think of the Pledge of Allegiance as merely something to recite in class each day. Now, more than ever, listen to the meaning of these words. I've been listening to you boys and girls recite the Pledge of Allegiance all semester, and it seems as though it's becoming monotonous to you. May I recite it and try to explain to you the meaning of each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one. Pledge, dedicate all my worldly goods to give without self-pity. Allegiance, my love and my devotion. To the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts, freedom is everybody's job. United, that means that we've all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 48 great states, 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose, all divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose, and that's love for country. And to the Republic, a state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people, and it's from the people to the leaders, and not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands one nation. One nation meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation. And justice, the principle or quality of dealing fairly with others, for all, which means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance, under God. Now, wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that's a prayer, and that it would be eliminated from schools too? God bless America.
Today's KSVIP is Sandy Schutz. Sandy is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to a wonderful, giving person. She does so much volunteer work with her church, APS, Meals on Wheels, and Friends of the Library. So have a wonderful day, and thank you for all you do. And this is from your fan club. Today, Sandy, you're going to receive a flower from Lovebud Floral and KSVP. Today's KSVIP, Sandy Schutz.
Mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so wide and nerdy. Think I'm just too wide and nerdy. Think I'm just too wide and nerdy. Can't you see I'm wide and nerdy? Look at me, I'm wide and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters, but so far they all think I'm too wide and nerdy. Think I'm just too wide and nerdy. Think I'm just too wide and nerdy. I'm just too wide and nerdy. Really, really wide and nerdy. My class here at MIT. Got skills, I'm a champion of D&D.
Well, hey there. Good morning, and welcome once again to the Good Morning Artesia radio show. Friday, November 4th, 2022. And we're getting ready to go for... Okay, all right. So, dropping like flies. Now, we... Coming up on the show today, we are scheduled to have with us Kirk Irby from Lowell's Pharmacy. We'll get the latest on the flu and anything else that's affecting things in the wide, wide world of health. Linda Stevens from Artesia Clean and Wonderful is going to join us, and we'll chit-chat about things. And then we're going to finish up the show today with Larry Marker. He is running for public... See, what is his office that he's running for here? He is running for Commissioner of Public Lands. And he is a certified write-in candidate. So if you want to vote for Larry, you're going to have to write his name in on your ballot when you get your actual ballot, not not the one that you print off the website. That's a sample ballot. Even though looking at it, it says official general election ballot. It says right here on this piece of paper. I wonder if I could fill this out and walk in and just shove it through the scanner. Somehow I don't think that would work. We had a visit yesterday from Honey Mann, the beekeeper. And Miss Mann was in town yesterday doing an extraction. And she brought us a very nice gift here of a comb honey, untouched by human hands, in a nice little container here with a Bible verse. And we were very nice to get to meet Miss Honey Mann, and they've got a beekeepers meeting coming up next Saturday, the final beekeepers meeting of the year coming up next Saturday. So we'll talk about that. She brought by a copy. I guess this is a newspaper you can get. It's Carlsbad Local. It must be, because I'm looking right at it. And from farm to flume. Like, that's funny. The pictures are in color pictures. And let's see here. And there's an article in here. This is the October V4 edition. So I don't know if that means that it's only for October or what's going on there. Huh. And there's a nice article in here with honey, Christina Mann. Bee talk. Honeybees are not endangered. And there's a nice article here with Christina, and talking about Africanized bees and all that good stuff. So if you happen to come across a copy of Carlsbad Local News, the October 2022 V4 edition, you can read the article about Christina. Yeah, that was very nice to have her come by. Volleyball team won last night, 3-0 over Portales. Goddard swept Lovington last night. So that kind of finalizes district play for volleyball. There's no district tournament. And Sunday, the NMAA Seating and Selection Committee will meet in conclave in Albuquerque, and when you see white smoke coming out of the chimney, you know that there will be a bracket. Goddard will go into seeding and selection as the district champ with a 6-0 record. Artesia will go in as the number 2 team out of our district with a 4-2 record in district, 16-7 overall. And then Portales at 2-14, 9-14 overall, and Lovington 0-6, 3-19 overall. If you look at the rankings on the Max Preps, that sometimes is an indicator of where teams will go in and what pool they'll be entered into and who they will have to challenge within their pool or who they will face when they come out of the pool. Goddard is the number 1 team in Class 4A. Pojoaque Valley is number 2. St. Pius X is number 3. Hope Christian number 4, and Artesia is number 5, and that was updated yesterday. This would have been probably before the final district games were played last night. I'm sure there'll be one more update probably Saturday before the NMAA gathers in Albuquerque. Los Alamos at number 6, Aztec at number 7, Albuquerque Academy at 8, Silver at number 9, Kirtland Central at number 10, Moriarty at 11, Gallup at 12, Valley at 13, Valencia at 14, Portales at 15, and Santa Teresa at 16. So that's the top 16 teams in 4A volleyball in New Mexico. So just something to think about going into their selection program that'll take place on Sunday. So we'll know sometime late Sunday. As it stands right now, we've got Joby Hodling and Kelly McDonald lined up to make the trek to Albuquerque as we plan on radio covering Goddard and Artesia in the tournament next week. The Artesia matches will be on the radio here on KSVP, and the Goddard matches will be on the radio on 106.5 out of Roswell. But you can hear it down here, so you can follow both teams on the radio. We, of course, have football playoffs today and tomorrow. And in 5A, the game of interest to us in Artesia is tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock at Milne Stadium in Albuquerque. Number 8 Valley hosting number 9 Mayamera out of Gallup. And the winner of that game comes to Artesia next Saturday at 1 o'clock at the Bulldog Bowl to play Artesia, the number 1 seed in the quarterfinals. Other games of interest that we're keeping an eye on, Deming and Belen. They are playing tonight in Deming at 7 o'clock, and the winner of that game will head to Roswell next weekend to take on the Rockets, the number 4 seed. And Los Alamos and Gadsden are playing tonight up at Los Alamos. That's a 7-10. Los Alamos the 7. And that is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And the winner of that game also gets to go to Roswell next weekend to take on the number 2 seeded Roswell Coyotes. Don't know which team will play the Friday night game and which team will play the Saturday game, or whether both games will be on Saturday. We will not know that until Sunday. I am told that information will be made available Sunday, and then we can tell you who's when and where. The other game in 5A football tonight at 7 o'clock at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces, New Mexico, number 6 Mayfield out of our district hosting number 11 Santa Teresa. The winner of that game gets to go all the way to Farmington next weekend and take on Piedra Vista. So that's what's happening on the high school football in 5A. In 4A, Portales plays tonight. They host St. Pius. And the winner of that game gets to go to Lovington next weekend in Lovington. Lovington got the number 4 seed in 4A. In 6A, Carlsbad is playing tomorrow at noon. They're the 10 seed. They're going to drive all the way up to Farmington at Hutchinson Stadium to take on the Farmington Scorpions. Farmington, the 7 seed. And that game will be tomorrow at noon o'clock. And the winner of that game goes to Albuquerque next weekend to take on La Cueva. Hobbs got a 4 seed, so they have a bye week this week. They're going to wait to see the winner of number 5 Volcano Vista and number 12 Atrisco Heritage Academy. And that's going to be in Albuquerque at Nucinda Community Stadium, the cement monolith there on the west side. See anybody from our area in 3A? Dexter's playing tomorrow at 1 o'clock. They're hosting Cobre. That's at 1 o'clock, and that's out of our area. The winner gets to go to Socorro next weekend for a quarterfinal game. Socorro got the number 1 seed. 2A, Loving is playing tonight at 7 o'clock in Santa Rosa. Loving the 6, Santa Rosa the 3. Jal, the number 1 seed, is hosting Escalante tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Loving Santa Rosa winner will play the Texaco Tularosa winner next weekend, and the Jal Escalante winner will play the Estancia Eunice winner next weekend. 8-man football, the semifinals are tonight. Lordsburg and Magdalena, Melrose and Fort Sumner House. Winners will play for the championship next weekend, next Saturday, the 12th. And the 6-man football semis are tonight. Gateway Christian, the number 1, will be hosting Dora. And number 2, Mountain Air, will be hosting Elida. And those games are tonight at 7 o'clock in Roswell and Mountain Air. Winners will play each other for the six-man championship next Saturday, the 12th. So that's kind of a rundown on high school football taking place tonight and tomorrow in the first round of the playoffs. So you have the state championships of soccer are today and tomorrow at Cleveland High School. Volleyball will be wrapping up their regular seasons today and tomorrow across the state. Selection Sunday is Sunday. State volleyball tournament is next week. And this weekend, again, the first round of the football state championship. So we've got all that stuff going on. Reminder, if you want to buy tickets, I had a note here. Tickets for the Artesia game go on sale Monday, and they are only available online. You have to go to nmact.org, and that'll be Monday. They can't put them on sale now because they have to know who the opponent is, I guess. It's, just like my request to purchase the streaming rights. They said, well, we have to wait till Monday. You do? Yes, we have to see if anybody else is going to do that. There will be? Okay. Whatever you say. I'm ready to give you money. But that's not how things work in the wide, wide world of Albuquerque. 7:21. It's windy. It's going to be a little difficult for the balloon stuff to take place for the kiddos today with the wind. They may be able to do some explaining. And the paper takes flight stuff, I think, is scheduled for today in the schools. Let's see what kind of weather we're going to have for today and into the weekend. Steve-O?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Still windy today as high pressure moves back into our area behind that cold front. We'll be in the low 60s for the afternoon high. We should get some sunshine, and that wind will be gusting around 35 to 40 miles per hour through the day. Clear and mid-30s for the overnight hours. Low 70s and sunny on Saturday. Sunday looks good. We're back in the upper 70s with sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
I'm just looking at the live shot. You're watching online at ksvpradio.com, ksvptv.com, KSVP Radio on the Facebooks, KSVP TV on the YouTubes. If you're watching online, that's a really neat picture from our webcam east of town, looking back to the west to the Pecos Valley. And right now, we're looking at 48 degrees here in Artesia. And I was checking the temperature for the morning because it's supposed to be balloon liftoff in the morning. And it looks like tomorrow be chilly, about 38 in the morning. But I don't think we'll have the wind. I think the system moves through today. There's actually a chance we might see some rain next hour, according to the weather people, and then it'll be windy until about 6 o'clock tonight. 48 degrees right now in Artesia. Humidity at 46%. The dew point is 28. Winds are out of the west-southwest at 11. Pressure at 29.87 and edging upwards. Our air quality is 53, so we have moderate air quality. Sunset will be at 6:03. Sunrise will be at 7:19. Don't forget, this is time change weekend. So sometime Saturday night, Sunday morning, fall back 1 hour. Roll the clocks back 1 hour. Let's see, is there a prediction? Yeah, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., they're calling for clear skies and 34. So that's even chillier than what I was told earlier this morning. Carlsbad is partly cloudy and 50. Roswell is seeing some drizzle and 44 degrees. Jeffrey, can you pull up the Roswell cam? We have a camera in Roswell, believe it or not. West of Roswell, looking back. Well, we can make it look back towards the city, or we can make it look toward the mountains. So Jeffrey's going to try to bring up the Roswell cam here in just a second, if you're watching online, and then we'll describe it to you if you're listening to the radio like most of you do. Partly cloudy and 50 in Hobbs. Mostly cloudy and 32 in Albuquerque. Got some drizzle in 25 in Santa Fe. There's the Roswell cam. And, yeah, it kind of looks kind of cloudy-like and all that. Let me move that camera, if that's okay with you, Jeffrey. Let me move that camera to look back towards the west. And so if you're watching online, we're moving the camera right now. I'm going to swing that back to where we can point toward the mountains. And, whoops, is that too far? No, that's about right. Let it clear up a little bit. And that's what it's looking like back towards the mountainous regions of Ruidoso and all that good stuff. Okay, where were we? It's Santa Fe, Cloudcroft, partly cloudy and 27 in Ruidoso, clear and 37 in Las Cruces, partly cloudy and 28 in Farmington, cloudy and 15 at Red River, drizzle and 38 in Clovis, and in West Texas this hour, mostly sunny and 52 in Lubbock, breezy and 41 in El Paso, and again, we've got mostly sunny skies and 48 in Artesia. So that's kind of neat. It looks like it's a little cloudier back towards Roswell, and toward the west, back towards, you can see Capitan Mountain there in the right-hand side of your screen, right above the word Artesia. And then, of course, off into the distance up in the clouds is Sierra Blanca. So that's kind of cool. Lunch menus. Let's take a look at our school lunch menus for today. For the Artesia Public Schools, it'll be PB and jelly sandwich, corn dog and mustard for lunch, tater tots and ketchup, baked beans and applesauce. So the PB and jelly sandwich is for breakfast, and the corn dog and mustard, tater tots and ketchup is for lunch today in the Artesia Public Schools. Artesia Senior Meal Site today, green chili cheeseburgers, lettuce, thyme, onion, mixed vegetables, potato wedgies, and peaches. So it's green chili cheeseburgers today at the Senior Meal Site. At the Senior Center today, Howard's going to be there from Here on Earth to service your hearing aids, sell you some fresh batteries if you need them. He'll be there 9 to 11 today. The Western dance class is tonight at 6:30. Creative Crafters will be crafting creatively at 9 o'clock. The Hand and Footers playing that card game at 10. Bingo at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And the Sewers will be running those sewing machines like crazy at 1:30 this afternoon. Tomorrow, this is really special. If you're a senior, if you're a registered member there at the Senior Center, the Moose Lodge is going to cook turkey, ham, and the fixins for you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. No tickets, no cost. Just show up out at the Moose Lodge tomorrow at 11 and enjoy a turkey, ham, and all the fixins lunch tomorrow at the Moose Lodge. There is a dance tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Aces and Eights will be the performing band for the dance tomorrow night. Aces and Eights. Green Thumbs will meet on Monday, and Watch Battery Day is on Tuesday. And the Advisory Council did not meet this first Wednesday. They will meet next Wednesday, the first Monday, Wednesday of November at 9 o'clock. The first Wednesday of November, next Wednesday. Library today, they're just going to be checking out books. The today and tomorrow. So pretty basic, regular old Friday, Saturday at the library. School calendar today. First round of the football playoffs. We talked about that. That starts this weekend. The Roselawn Book Fair is today. And the state soccer championships. We mentioned that. Goddard from our area, the Goddard boys are in the tournament. They play for the state soccer championship tomorrow night. I think it's 6:30 up at Cleveland High School in Rio Rancho. Birthdays this weekend. Today, the 4th, Ray Taylor, Lily Urban, Virgie Palamine, Glenn Gregory, Tom Posey and O.G. Robles, the original Robles. There have been others since, but the original, the OG, is having a birthday today. Saturday the 5th, Cheryl Johnson has a birthday. Matter of fact, I need to check the school calendar. Anything listed on there? State cross country will be at Albuquerque tomorrow. The SAT test is at 7:45 tomorrow. So those are a couple events that are tomorrow in the schools. And nothing on the Sunday. Saturday birthdays, Cheryl Johnson, Harold Friesner, F-R-I-E, would that be Friesner? Don Majors, Rhonda Keem, Harold Parrish, Ruth Cano, David Longoria, and Rachel Paz, all celebrating birthdays on Saturday. Happy birthday to Cheryl, Harold, Don, Rhonda, Harold, two Harolds, a Ruth, David, and a Rachel. And then on Sunday, sing happy birthday to Rhonda King and Barbara Chandler. So Sunday the 6th will be Rhonda and Barbara's birthdays. Happy birthday to all of you from all of us at KSVP. There are some other things happening around the town this weekend. We'll talk about those when we come back. And our McDonald's breakfast is absolutely awesome today. Thanks to Sylvia and the crew there at McDonald's. We'll talk about that in just a bit as well. But first, you probably need to know how to vote. Today and tomorrow, the last days of early voting. Election day is Tuesday. Who are you going to vote for?
Community safety matters. I'm Yvette Harrell.
Yvette Harrell and her Great Dane Reba are traveling across New Mexico to meet with us.
Reba looks out for my house, just like our police make our families feel secure in their homes. With a tough economy and crime on the rise, we have to look out for our neighbors and our neighborhood protectors.
From Albuquerque to Las Cruces, we're seeing record highs in violent crime. But radical liberal Gabe Vasquez says he wants to defund and deconstruct law enforcement when we need them even more. Yvette Harrell knows better. She's fighting for common sense solutions to make your family safe again.
So I'm working to fund our law enforcement and crack down on criminals who harm police. I'm Yvette Harrell, and I approve this message because your family's safety deserves a watchdog.
Yvette Harrell for Congress. Paid for by Yvette Harrell for Congress.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Eddy County is an equal opportunity employer and has numerous positions to fill. The county is hiring a firefighter EMT, both certified and uncertified, a fire captain, Deputy Sheriff 1 uncertified, Deputy Sheriff 2 certified, a maintenance tech 1 and 2, detention officer with a sign-on incentive of $5,000. Call HR for details. Detention nurses, full and part-time, light equipment roll-off operator in Carlsbad, accounting tech 1, mapper trainee, and an appraiser 1. The county offers competitive wages and great benefits. Details and applications are at eddycounty.org with help available at any New Mexico Workforce Connection office.
Locally owned will get you in gear. That's because you've known us for years at Big O. Big O Tires.
Now through November 13th, save $70 to $100 instantly on select in-stock sets of Pirelli, Nexen, and Aspen tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation charges extra. Required on all 4 tires. Not valid with other offers. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees extra and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for details.
The legendary Sons of the Pioneers are coming to the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center in Artesia, Friday, November the 11th at 6 p.m., bringing tales of horses, cattle, cowboys, night herds, canyons, and prairies, with classics like Tumbling Tumbleweeds, Cool Water, and Ghost Riders in the Sky. Tickets are just $30 for adults, and students K through 12 are only $10. Get tickets at the Ocotillo box office or at ArtesiaArtsCouncil.com. Sons of the Pioneers, Friday, November 11th, 6 p.m. at the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center. Ad paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
In volatile times, it's natural to worry about your retirement.
Hon, I'm worried about our retirement account.
With today's economy, it just makes sense to keep your retirement money close to home with people you know. We have several guaranteed safe options. Peace of mind with retirement savings. It just makes sense. Western Bank of Artesia. Member FDIC. It just makes sense.
This is Larry Marker, independent write-in candidate for Commissioner of Public Lands. Together, we can take back our public lands while preserving the integrity of your vote. It's easy to vote for Larry Marker. On your ballot, go to the space provided for declared write-in candidate. It's under the heading Commissioner of Public Lands. Mark the oval and write in Larry Marker. Together, we can take back our public lands and preserve the integrity of your vote. Go to LarryMarker.com for more information. Thank you.
Larry Marker, independent write-in candidate for Commissioner of Public Lands. Paid for by the Friends of Larry Marker.
Get ready to experience a whole new world of fire, magic, and bubbles. The City of Roswell presents Spheres Bubble Show, Saturday and Sunday, November 5th and 6th, 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. at the Roswell Convention Center. Join Blaze Rhines, featured on Season 13 of America's Got Talent, for an immersive and interactive experience, a unique intersection of magic and science that your whole family will never forget. Tickets are just $15 each, or $50 for a VIP 2-pack featuring meet and greet photo and a raincoat for the show. Get tickets now at holdmyticket.com. Spheres Bubble Show, November 5th and 6th at the Roswell Convention Center.
You know, the McRib is at McDonald's. Not sure how long the McRib will be around. A lot of folks are saying this is the last time the McRib will make an appearance at McDonald's. So if you love the McRib sandwich and you want to get one before they're gone, perhaps forever, sometime today or this weekend, pop into your friendly neighborhood McDonald's and order the McRib. Great way to start the day or just have an afternoon treat is to get a caramel frappe and a pumpkin and cream pie at McDonald's. And there's a new movie coming out, one of the Marvel movies, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And that's in theaters, only in theaters right now. And if your kids are into that movie and the Marvel Universe, there is a Wakanda Forever game pieces or Happy Meal characters that are available now. And in addition to the little pieces that you can get, there's an interactive game that you can load up on the kiddo's tablet, iPad, and keep them occupied for a little while there. But yeah, the Black Panther Wakanda Forever Happy Meals are now available at your friendly neighborhood McDonald's here in Artesia. Let's see what else is happening around town. We've got our Eddy County Sports Update and Kim Commando's Tech Tip for Friday. That's all next on Good Morning Artesia.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Authorities say social media rumors about a search for someone connected to a deadly fire earlier this week in Roswell are false. A young child died in what appears to have been an accidental trailer home fire. The father of the 3-year-old child was also seriously injured in the Monday morning fire on West Brasher Road. A statement issued by RFD said the child was found in a bedroom after the flames were put out. The father was found lying on the ground just outside the home as firefighters pulled up. That man remains hospitalized today with serious burn injuries. It appears the fire started in the bedroom where the child was found, but the exact cause is not yet known. Eddy County Sheriff Mark Cage now publicly supporting Mark Ronchetti's campaign for governor, while also slamming incumbent Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. Cage said the incumbent governor has been, quote, soft on crime during her first term in office. Cage is the focus of a new television commercial for the former television meteorologist who made crime a key focus of his contest. Ronchetti directly blamed Lujan Grisham as being responsible for the murder of a Roswell woman last year. Those allegations came in the case of Christopher Beltran, who had reportedly been released from custody twice for other crimes. While out on bond, he's accused of killing his girlfriend, Dominique Gonzalez. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
What's in a name? A reputation to bring you service and quality. What's in a name?
At Lowell's Pharmacy, we're ready with your flu shot. Flu shots prevent millions of illnesses and flu-related doctor's visits every year. Getting the flu shot has been shown to reduce the risk of having to go to the doctor with flu by 40 to 60%. So take time to visit Lowell's Pharmacy in Artesia and get your flu shot.
It's time for the Eddy County Sports Report. Got a volleyball score from last night as Artesia finishes off the regular season with a sweep of Portales 3-0. The Bulldogs are 16-7 overall, 4-2 heading into the playoffs. The brackets will be announced this weekend. In football action, Artesia's got a bye past the first round of the 5A playoffs as the number 1 seed. In Class 6A, Carlsbad is the 10th seed, and the Cavemen will be playing at number 7 Farmington. Both teams have 5-5 overall records. This game starts at 12 o'clock on Saturday. The winner will take on number 2 La Cueva on the roads. In 2A, Loving is the 6th seed, and the Falcons will play number 3 Santa Rosa. Loving 7-3. Santa Rosa is 8-2. That's tonight at 7 o'clock. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at KSVP Radio AM 990.
Can OnlyFans drop the porn and become something else? That's the $2 billion question. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by Simply Safe. Don't miss their biggest offer of the year. Get 50% off for a limited time at simplysafekim.com. OnlyFans is primarily a porn site. Users pay to see their favorite porn actors, and the actors get paid by OnlyFans. A woman named Amy Gann is OnlyFans CEO. She's a former VP at a defunct West Hollywood marijuana dispensary and cafe. OnlyFans tried once before to drop the porn, and business plummeted. So back to porn, ranking in $2.5 billion in the last 2 years. At least that's the claim. It's privately owned, so who knows? Gann and OnlyFans owner Leo Radvinsky want to aim their company for a Wall Street IPO. Just one problem. Wall Street will not attach their name to porn. So OnlyFans is looking to rebrand, and that's another problem. Take away the porn, you take away the money. This is going to be one to watch. Try my new daily podcast for more tech smarts called Kim Commando today. If you've thought about protecting your home with security, but have been putting it off, listen up. Right now, listeners can get the #1 rated Simply Safe home security system for 50% off. This is their biggest offer of the year, and you won't want to miss it. In an emergency, professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect technology to capture critical evidence and verify that the threat is real, leading to faster police dispatch. Simply Safe is whole home security with advanced sensors for every room, window, and door. 24/7 professional monitoring costs under $1 a day, less than half the price of ADT. And with their top-rated app, stay in complete control of your system. Arm or disarm, unlock for a guest, access your cameras, or adjust system settings. Don't miss your chance for a massive savings on my favorite security system. Get 50% off any new system at simplysafekim.com. This is their biggest discount of the year. Visit simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Turpinning & Son Mortuary of Artesia presents a listing of today's obituaries. We do not have any funeral announcements to share with you today. This listing has been presented as service by Turpinning & Son Mortuary of Artesia, where we make it personal. Weekend is upon us. It's looking kind of cloudy and windy. We're supposed to launch balloons this weekend. Steve, what's our forecast looking like?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Still windy today as high pressure moves back into our area behind that cold front. We'll be in the low 60s for the afternoon high. We should get some sunshine, and that wind will be gusting around 35 to 40 miles per hour through the day. Clear and mid-30s for the overnight hours. Low 70s and sunny on Saturday. Sunday looks good. We're back in the upper 70s with sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. We have kind of breezy out there, 48 degrees. Looks like they've said the rain isn't going to fall in the 8 o'clock hour, which is nice, I guess. Humidity at 45%. The dew point is 27. Winds are out of the west at 12. Pressure at 29.88. Feels like it's only 42 out there, even though it's 48. Sunset will be at 6:03. Sunrise will be at 7:19. Our air quality is 53, which is moderate air quality. If you're thinking about attending the balloon launch tomorrow morning, looks like it's going to be about 34 degrees at launch time, but I'm not seeing any excessive winds, so who knows if it's going to be calm enough for the balloons to go up or not. And then, of course, tomorrow afternoon is the community party out at Heirloom Acres, sponsored by H.F. Sinclair. They'll have all kinds of stuff for the family to do. It's kind of like if you hadn't been to the Heirloom Acres or you want to go back one more time for free.
This is the time to do it.
This will be the time to do it tomorrow afternoon, 3 to 7. And at 6 o'clock will be the balloon glow with the band. And then there's something special is going to happen after that around 7 o'clock. Something kind of special. I know what is going to happen. Matter of fact, I saw the thing that is going to do the thing, but I'm not going to say any more. But I seen it. I seen it.
You might be blacklisted
if I say anything about it, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Kirk Irby is here. We'll be back and talk with Kirk in just a moment.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Stocks racked up more losses on Wall Street, and Treasury yields again rose to multi-year highs Thursday as investors looked ahead to a closely watched job market report from the government that could influence the Federal Reserve's next move in its fight to bring down inflation. Stellantis and the U.S. government on Thursday warned owners of 276,000 older vehicles after Takata airbags apparently exploded in 3 more vehicles, killing the drivers. The company formerly known as Fiat Chrysler is telling people to stop driving Dodge Magnum wagons, Dodge Challenger and Charger muscle cars, and Chrysler 300 sedans from the 2005 through 2010 model years. The Bank of England rolled out its biggest interest rate increase in 3 decades Thursday, saying the move was needed to beat back stubbornly high inflation that is eroding living standards and is likely to trigger a prolonged recession. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Can you believe what environmental extremist Gabe Vasquez said about New Mexico's oil and gas industry? He actually said,
"Shut it all down. Let's just get rid of it immediately."
Shut it all down? Really? I guess Gabe Vasquez doesn't care that taxes on oil and gas provide over half of the money for our public schools. Our oil and gas industry provides over 60,000 jobs in New Mexico and has sent billions of dollars directly to the Children's Permanent Education Fund, so our public schools are always funded. Gabe Vasquez wants to, quote, shut it all down and break that promise. Vasquez would destroy our economy, bankrupt businesses, kill thousands of jobs, and fail our kids. Gabe Vasquez in Congress? Absolutely no way. Let's shut Vasquez down instead. Say no to Gabe Vasquez and his radical agenda and protect our jobs in schools. Our Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Our Values PAC.
What a great weekend to find your dream house with help from Lois Oliver Real Estate in Artesia. Sunday will be open houses at 406 West J.J. Clark Drive, 2303 West Sierra Vista Road, 1412 Champ Clark, and 2805 Beretta. Homes will be open. Agents will be on hand from 12:30 until 2:30 p.m. For more information, visit LoisOliverRealEstate.com or come out to the open houses, Sunday 12:30 to 2:30 with help from Lois Oliver Real Estate in Artesia.
Hello, this is Andrew Davidson, Market President of First National Bank.
And this is Jana Gentry, Residential Mortgage Lender.
We offer a full range of financial products that create possibilities in the lives we touch. And in this community, we're proud to serve.
If you seek a loan to purchase a home, are a first-time home buyer taking the first steps towards making your homeownership dreams come true, or are looking to refinance your current residence, we are here every step of the way and will help make choosing the right mortgage loan simple.
First National Bank. We're big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Member FDIC. Pharmacy, an equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm New Mexico's 5th District Division 1 Judge Eileen Reardon. This district covers Chavez, Lee, and Eddy counties. I want to thank all my supporters who believe in me and who have or will vote for me. I have integrity, honesty, and have consistently, to the best of my abilities, performed my judicial duties, and I want to continue as your 5th District Judge. As a voter, it's your privilege to go vote. You can vote early until November 5th or on Election Day, November 8th. Show your support by voting. I'm 5th District Judge Eileen Reardon, and I thank you.
Paid for by the Committee to elect Judge Reardon, Steve McCutcheon, Treasurer.
I'm Judge Reardon, and I approve this message.
Welcome to Answers with Ken Ham, presented by the Coalition of Christians for Biblical Creation and Steve and Cindy Anderson of Napa Auto Parts in Artesia. CCBC is an interdenominational coalition of Christians from Artesia who believe that the account of origins presented in Genesis is a simple but factual presentation of actual events. Answers with Ken Ham is brought to you by Steve and Cindy Anderson of Napa Auto Parts, proudly serving all of your automotive needs, individual and commercial, with quality Napa parts. Now, today's Answers with Ken Ham.
Can we trust the Bible? This is Ken Ham, author of the eye-opening book 6 Days and Church Compromise. The truth and reliability of the Bible are under attack in our culture. Secularists claim the Bible can't be trusted. And sadly, many Christians say the Bible's wrong about science and history. They claim we have to reinterpret much of the Bible's so-called problematic doctrine, especially regarding sexuality and gender. But as we've seen this week, when the Bible touches on science, such as astronomy, it's always right, even hundreds of years ahead of its time. Instead of joining with the world in distrusting the Bible and reinterpreting the parts that don't fit with the secular story, we should trust God's word, knowing that science will always confirm the Bible.
Find resources to equip you to stand for biblical truth at AnswersRadio.com and subscribe to receive free daily email insights from Ken Ham when you go to AnswersRadio.com.
Welcome back on Good Morning Artesia. And on the first Friday of the month, we like to have Kirk Irby from Lowell's Pharmacy pop in and chat with us. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Oh, let me turn on the microphone. Now we can hear you.
I'm doing well.
Good, good. It's, you can kind of tell fall and winter is upon us because we're starting to see that fall and winter-like weather occasionally make an appearance here.
Yes. Especially in the early morning, then it turns to summer during the middle of the day.
And that doesn't confuse anybody at all or put anybody in a position to maybe get sick or anything like that?
No, not at all.
Yeah, so that's great. We were talking before we went on the air, one of the phrases that is kind of like embedded in the news today is supply chain issues. Anytime you go into a store and you can't find stuff, or anytime you want to order something, you get these long delays. We were looking at possibly buying a transmitter for radio this summer, and we were told if we ordered one then, that day, maybe January, February, 6, 7, 8 months down the road, it might be ready to ship. And so it's affecting so many things. Then we hear about diesel shortages.
Yes.
Everything in this country moves on diesel, whether it's the truck or the train.
It does.
It moves on diesel. How is the supply chain issue affecting the pharmacy business? Is it having an impact on your business?
There are a certain number of medications that we are having hard times getting or getting enough because there's allocations on how much you can order. And one of those is an antibiotic of amoxicillin, especially the liquid amoxicillin that a lot of doctors use for the smaller children, especially for ear infections. Now, what's kind of interesting is that we have not had a problem yet getting Augmentin, which is a combination of amoxicillin and a different drug. But just straight amoxicillin has been hard to keep enough in stock. We've been able to get some, but that's one of the drugs that's going through allocation through the wholesalers, and there's when that happens, it's kind of like if one pharmacy gets a prescription and they're out of it, they're kind of calling around to see who has it and transferring that prescription out to that pharmacy, and it's kind of all right today. Who has enough? So
wow, is that another one of our drugs that's manufactured in China and possibly part of the reason why there's an issue?
I do believe that there's a large number of medications that are manufactured in China, but India is another area that has had a lot of manufactured, I guess we call them labs, but just manufacturing facilities for medications. And as I understand, there has recently been a labor dispute in India that has caused some of these manufacturing facilities to either shut down temporarily or reduce production. There's another drug called Carafate, which is sucralfate, is a generic, and we can't get liquid or the tablets. Haven't been able to for about a week. And I really haven't tracked down where the country of origin is from these. A lot of times when we're ordering from the wholesaler is able to get certain contracts with different manufacturers, and we're looking at what our net price is as opposed to something else, like who makes it or where it's coming from, because that's how we're reimbursed by insurance. So we're kind of, I don't want to say our hands are tied, because we have the ability to order different companies' medications, but insurance is paying on the lowest price wholesale lot drug that's out there, and that's how they're reimbursing. So if we get away from that, we're going to be losing money on prescriptions. And there's still sometimes when you're getting that lowest price, you're still not able to get the insurance to cover the full cost of the medication. So we do what we can, but this supply chain, so to speak, is challenging, and we're continually trying to order what we can in anticipations of when we know a drug is on short supply, but anticipation of though being allocated or whatever. So
wow, it's amazing how that's all being affected by that. In China, it's the manufacturing. Most of the news we've heard has been affected by the lockdowns, because the factories get shut down from COVID infections. India, it appears to be labor shortage issues in many cases. Here in the United States, there's a potential rail strike that may be coming down the line, and get it down the line, and and then you've got the potential for a diesel fuel shortage, and so you hear all these things in the news, and I guess you get on the computer every morning and go, okay, where am I going to find this stuff today, and when's it going to get here, and what's going to mess up the plans for today?
Pretty much. And we have two major wholesalers that we order from, and we look back and forth between those two, not only for the best price, but also for availability. We also have about 3 different, what we call secondary wholesalers, that we order from, and we treat those the same way as we do the major wholesalers, that they don't have a full range of items or of medications, but we look at what they have on when they do have it. So it's kind of like this shell game of where the pea is, of finding the right medications that we need for our customers.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of pharmacies are going through the same thing. It's not just Lowell's Pharmacy.
That's correct.
They're all being affected. Can you stick around for another
Sure.
segment? Okay. Kirk Irby is here from Lowell's Pharmacy. We need to take a break for news, and we will do that and then be back with more on the other side. This is KSVP Artesia, K229AS Artesia. That's the 93.7 FM thing. News is next.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. America's employers kept right on hiring in October.
The Labor Department says employers added 261,000 positions, a sign that the economy remains a mixture of continued job growth and painful inflation. Last month's hiring remained near the pace it has maintained in the 2+ years since the pandemic recession ended. The unemployment rate rose to 3.7% from a 5-decade low of 3.5%.
And that's correspondent Jeremy House. Former President Trump held another of his signature rallies, this one in the nation's heartland.
The Iowa way of life is under siege, and it is a great way of life, a beautiful way of life. Biden and the far-left lunatics are waging war on Iowa farmers, crushing American energy, attacking Iowa ethanol, and strangling Iowa families with soaring prices.
Applause breaking out when Mr. Trump declared there has never been a president that has been better to the farmers or better to Iowa than Trump. Now, will he make another run for the White House? He is teasing it, but there's no answer just yet. That could come after the midterm elections in 4 days. While in Sioux City, Mr. Trump, again, he mentioned his endorsement of Governor Kim Reynolds and Senator Chuck Grassley. With the midterms fast approaching, President Biden is stumping in blue states. In New Mexico, yesterday described Republicans as reckless and irresponsible. Today, he wraps up his current campaign swing with a visit to California. A blizzard of pink slips could be on the way at Twitter. Employees expecting to find out today whether they still have a job. The new boss, Elon Musk, planning to cut the staff of 7,500 in half. He's also looking at other cost-saving measures at the social media giant. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 213 points. The Nasdaq 38 points higher, and the S&P is up 25. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau, Christian author and evangelical leader, here to remind you that God's gifts should never be taken for granted. Take, for example, your retirement savings. You've worked hard for your money, and God has rewarded you for that. Now, with record inflation eating away at the value of the U.S. dollar, those rewards are literally being taken from you. But there is a way the faithful can fight back. By diversifying your retirement account into gold, your savings can be protected. And that's what God wants. Even better, a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group allows you to transfer your current retirement funds into gold without fees or penalties. To see how it works, text the word FAITH to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold IRAs. That's FAITH to 989898. Take action right now, and I pray that your family is blessed with continued prosperity.
Ukraine's president accusing Russia of energy terrorism, saying Russian attacks on Ukraine's power grid have left 4.5 million civilians without power.
In his nightly address, President Zelensky said that Kyiv and 10 other regions had been affected by blackouts. Temporary emergency shutdowns had to be put in place because so much of Ukraine's energy infrastructure has been destroyed by Russian missile strikes. Mr. Zelensky acknowledged the frustration of many Ukrainians with the power shortages and said he'd asked the energy companies to do better.
That's BBC's Catherine Bayou-Arhanga reporting from Kiev. South Korea scrambled about 80 military aircraft, including advanced F-35 fighter jets, after tracking about 180 flights by North Korean warplanes inside North Korean territory. It appeared to be a defiant show of strength on the part of the North. News and analysis at townhall.com. Stellantis issues a warning.
That's after Takata driver's airbags apparently exploded, killing 3 more people. The company, formerly Fiat Chrysler, is telling people to stop driving Dodge Magnum wagons, Dodge Challenger and Charger muscle cars, and Chrysler 300 sedans from the 2005 through 2010 model years. Stellantis has confirmed the airbag inflators blew apart in 2 cases, killing 2 people. The company suspects an inflator rupture in another case also killed a driver. John Scott reporting.
With a 3-2 victory over the Phillies, the Houston Astros now holding a 3-2 lead in the best-of-7 World Series. Game 6 of baseball's Fall Classic will take place tomorrow night in Houston. On Wall Street, the Dow is up more than 210 points, while the Nasdaq is ahead 38 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Today's KSVIP is Sandy Schutz. Sandy is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to a wonderful, giving person. She does so much volunteer work with her church, APS, Meals on Wheels, and Friends of the Library. So have a wonderful day, and thank you for all you do. And this is from your fan club. Today, Sandy, you're going to receive a flower from Lovebud Floral and KSVP. Today's KSVIP, Sandy Schutz.
Mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters, but so far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really, really white and nerdy.
My class here at MIT. Got skills, I'm a champion of D&D. MC Escher, that's my favorite MC. Keep your 40 out, just have an Earl Grey tea. My rims never spin to the contrary.
Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. It's getting kind of scary to check email. See, oh, look at this. More ads for one of the candidates they want to buy on Saturday. That's tomorrow, right?
It is.
Yeah. So there we go. Got to get some more ads on the radio for some of the candidates. So sometimes it's okay to open your email. And then sometimes it's like, why do I even check my email? I got, the previous week, Kirk Irby is here from Lowell's Pharmacy. The previous week, we had some higher than normal comments on some of our video work amongst all the different schools that we cover. Normally we get very positive comments, but this particular weekend we had a few more than usual complaints. So we were trying to address those and hopefully answer some folks' questions, and
sure,
here's what we're dealing with, and this is what happened, and we'll try to make sure it doesn't happen again. So last weekend, we were in Las Cruces.
Yes.
Did the Mayfield game against Artesia, and we did the game, and then we went to eat afterwards. And a gentleman came up to me while we were sitting there and, "You the video crew?" And we were like, "Maybe." Depends. What do you have? Why? If we were, what would you want to say? But it was a very good situation. They were in town in Las Cruces for another event with a gentleman's daughter. So they weren't at the game, but they were in Las Cruces. But he was able to pull it up on his phone and watch the game, and he was complimentary of our coverage. And we're like, okay,
good.
Yes, that's us. We will admit to that. So we've got a little bit of action this week. As a matter of fact, today and tomorrow is a regional junior college volleyball tournament at NMMI. And there are 2 games today starting at 5 o'clock, and then there are 3 games tomorrow. So there's like the play-in games today for the lower seeded teams.
Okay.
And then there's the semifinal games at 10 and noon. So the teams that have the byes play the ones that advance from today.
Right.
And then the 2 survivors of those 2 matches play for the championship at 4 o'clock tomorrow at Cahoon Armory. And so Art Sandoval and Kelly McDonald, who do our Roswell High coverage and have done NMMI coverage for us this year. They're going to be calling the play-by-play for all 5 matches, the 2 today and the 3 tomorrow. And our video crew will have a full production of the NMMI game at noon o'clock and the championship game at 4 o'clock, and it'll just be a plain old single camera coverage of the other games. So that's going to be on the channel starting at 5 o'clock this afternoon. You can watch some junior college volleyball from NMMI 5 o'clock today. And we hit a new record in terms of viewership last month.
You did?
Yeah, 13,400 viewer minutes.
That's interesting.
An all-time high. We've never surpassed 10,000 viewer minutes in a month. But between Bulldog football, Goddard football, Roswell football, NMMI football and volleyball, Monday night football, rec league football, Good Morning Artesia, Mornings with Mike Winters, all the different things that we did during the month of October. Did I say the Eastern New Mexico State Fair?
You did not.
Eastern New Mexico State Fair was in October. So you take a look at all the viewer minutes that we had from all of those events that we streamed in October, and we went over 13,400 viewer minutes in the month of October.
Well, I know that some of your soccer games were being looked at by some of the refereeing crews and just kind of being evaluating, making sure that things were done correctly and that type of stuff. So
that's and I know they do that in football, and I know they do that in basketball, and which is fine, and we're glad to have that there. I'm not 100% happy with our soccer video, and I mean I've run camera, Jeffrey's run camera, Bradley's run camera. We're either too close or we're too far away, and if we're too close, then it's too jumpy.
Yes.
And if we're too far away, it's hard to see anything that's going on. And so we've had a little bit of trouble finding that happy medium on where it needs to be. So we'll try to get better for next season. Because if we get too close so you can see what's going on, then they kick the ball in one direction and the camera's jerking over here, or it doesn't always get back. And like I said, between the 3 of us that were running camera this year, I think we all need a lesson in soccer. And so we'll try to do better on that. I know nothing about soccer. What I do know about soccer is from watching the Bulldogs the last 2 years. That's been my entire exposure to soccer, has been watching the Bulldogs the last couple of seasons. So it's an interesting game.
It is.
The Artesia's fortunate that they have their own soccer field.
Yes.
I watched the Goddard game at Lovington, and they play on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the football striping is white on the blue turf, and all the soccer striping is black. And I thought, well, I guess they know where the boundaries are and where the box is and where the circle is and all that, because just looking at it from the camera angle, it doesn't look very noticeable, the difference.
Yes. I've not looked at a field like that. What I'm used to when it's on a football field is that a lot of the soccer markings are in yellow.
Okay. That would make sense. And the soccer field is a little bigger than the football field.
In general, yes.
Yeah.
From the length, it can be anywhere from 100 yards to 130 yards.
Okay.
And since the end zones are roughly, they're 10 yards, so two of them, it's 20. So a football field essentially is 120 yards long. So a lot of schools will make that the same as their soccer field.
Yeah.
And the width is a little bit wider.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times they'll match up those end zones with the back, what they call the back of the end zones for football. So
Yeah, that's what they did at Lovington, is the goals were backed up against the goalposts at the back of the football end zone. And then the sidelines, you could see the black line, which was beyond the sideline in football and where the teams stand. It extended back beyond that. But the soccer was all in black. So you got this blue turf, and the black lines were the soccer lines, and the white lines were the...
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. But like I said, Artesia's fortunate in that it's just a soccer field, and it's just a football field, and so you don't have this confusion of striping and lines to have to deal with. So
correct, yeah.
That's very, very helpful. Kirk Irby is here, but we're not going to talk soccer. We've got a couple other questions I want to ask Kirk about supply chain issues and other issues that pharmacies deal with. Let's first of all take a look at the weather forecast, because it's still kind of cloudy out there and kind of dreary. Let's get an update, Steve.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Still windy today as high pressure moves back into our area behind that cold front. We'll be in the low 60s for the afternoon high. We should get some sunshine, and that wind will be gusting around 35 to 40 miles per hour through the day. Clear and mid-30s for the overnight hours. Low 70s and sunny on Saturday. Sunday looks good. We're back in the upper 70s with sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Partly cloudy skies, 48 degrees on the out of doors here in Artesia. The humidity is at 45%. The dew point is 28. Winds are westerly at 11. Pressure's at 29.90 and edging upwards. Our air quality is 52. We have moderate air quality at this hour. Sunset will be at 6:03. Sunrise at 7:19. Around the region, we've got breezy, 51 in Carlsbad, drizzle in 45 in Roswell, 51 in Hobbs, mostly cloudy, 34 in Albuquerque, snow, and 26 in Santa Fe. Partly cloudy, 23 in Cloudcroft, mostly sunny, and 28 in Ruidoso, sunny and 38 in Las Cruces, mostly sunny, 29 in Farmington, cloudy and 17 at Red River. Drizzle in 39 in Clovis. West Texas, partly cloudy, 51 in Lubbock, breezy and 40 in El Paso, and again here in Artesia, partly cloudy, 48 degrees. Thanks to Sylvia and her crew for our breakfast from McDonald's today, and a couple of notes on McDonald's that I took this morning. They've got their breakfast bundles for $2.50. Sausage McMuffin, sausage biscuit, or McChicken biscuit, and a hash brown, $2.50. Add the beverage of your choice from their menu selection, of course. Can't just add any beverage, you know.
That's true.
What they have. The Danishes, if you've liked the Danishes, they are about to go away. That's kind of a seasonal item. So if you like the Danishes, probably this would be a good weekend to go ahead and get a Danish or two. Wakanda Forever Happy Meal toys and interactive game available, and they are hiring. Believe it or not, they need employees at McDonald's. Go to hire.com, mechhire.com. I wrote mechhire and it changed it to kchire.com. It's not KC Hire. It's mechhire.com, or apply in store. They'd love to have you go to work for their team at McDonald's. And I still say one of the best coffee deals is this large cup of coffee, couple of bucks at McDonald's, and it's good coffee. You get refills while you're there. I mean, I can't go over there now and get a refill, but while I'm there,
yes,
and then I can, before I leave, I can get a refill.
Take it with you.
Walk out of there with a full cup of coffee. So $2. Not a bad deal. Kirk is here. We're going to talk more about the pharmacy business when we come back on Good Morning Artesia.
Oh, fair New Mexico.
Hello, I'm Jimmy G. Mason, Republican candidate for New Mexico District 66, House of Representatives. And I'm asking for your vote this November. But mostly I'm asking for you to vote for all the conservative Republican candidates this election. We need everyone to vote in a bipartisan effort to change Santa Fe. Every vote will matter. Government needs to fear the people, not the people fearing the government. God bless the people of New Mexico. This message paid for by the committee to elect Jimmy G. Mason, Johnny Schumann Treasurer.
New Mexico, New Mexico, New Mexico.
Come see the balloons. Come hear the tunes. For nearly 40 years, Artesia has hosted its balloon festival the first weekend in November. Weather permitting, hot air balloons will lift from Eagle Drop Park at sunrise on Saturday, November 5th and Sunday, November 6th. There will be various hot air balloon related events all over town that weekend. But make sure to check out the Glow and Fire concert on Saturday night, November 5th at Heirloom Acres at 6 p.m. This event will feature the Artesia High School Band and the Twirling Stars, along with the Hot Air Balloon Pilots, Balloons and Tunes, November 5th through 6th in Artesia, New Mexico. For the best rates, book your hotel reservations early and directly. For more information, call 575-746-2744 or head to artesiachamber.com. Paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
When you choose your doctor, do you make that decision based on political affiliation? Of course not. You base your decision on competence, knowledge, and experience. Same for a district judge. Do your homework. Check qualifications. There's only one clear choice. That's why Republicans and Democrats are pulling together to elect Judge Eileen Reardon, 5th District Judge, Division I, Chavez, Lee, and Eddy County. Experience, fair, vote Judge Eileen Reardon. Paid for by the committee to elect Judge Eileen Reardon, Steve McCutcheon, Treasurer.
I'm Judge Reardon, and I approve this message.
It's the big grocery savings sale at Fenn's Country Market in Artesia. Del Monte vegetables, assorted varieties, 5 cans for $5. Food Club deli sliced cheese, assorted 8 to 10 count, $1.98 each. Food Club macaroni and cheese, 7.25 ounce box, 42 cents each. And Kellogg's cereals, select flavors, 18 to 24 ounce box, $4.28 each at Fenn's Country Market in Artesia. And right now, Pepsi select flavors, 12-pack cans, 3 for $13 at Fenn's Country Market in Artesia.
You're invited to the annual Veterans Day Parade and Celebration, Saturday, November 12th, beginning at 9 a.m. on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn. Featuring guest speakers Sean Nicholson, music from Matt Miller and Tom Blake, and the laying of the wreaths by the Cub Scouts. The parade begins at 10 a.m. and moves north from the courthouse to the Wool Bowl. And enjoy special displays and food vendors after the parade in the Wool Bowl parking lot. To be a part of the event, contact Stephen Lee with the American Legion at 720-272-1455. Join us Saturday, November 12th, 9 a.m. on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn. Sponsored by Roswell Ford.
The legendary Sons of the Pioneers are coming to the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center in Artesia, Friday, November the 11th at 6 p.m., bringing tales of horses, cattle, cowboys, night herds, canyons, and prairies, with classics like Tumbling Tumbleweeds, Cool Water, and Ghost Riders in the Sky. Tickets are just $30 for adults, and students K through 12 are only $10. Get tickets at the Ocotillo box office or at ArtesiaArtsCouncil.com. Sons of the Pioneers, Friday, November 11th, 6 p.m. at the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center. Ad paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
Hey, we're back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. We won't be talking with Valerie today from the library. She's a little under the weather. I hope I didn't say something I shouldn't have said. Hope not. She didn't tell me not to, but I didn't. Anyway, Valerie won't be with us today, so we're asking Kirk Irby to stick around. And previous segment, we talked about how the supply chain issues are affecting the pharmacy business. You mentioned something before we went on the air, controlled substance prescriptions.
Yes.
Now, the first thing that popped into my mind was the store on South First.
Yes.
But that's not what we're talking about. So when you say controlled substance prescriptions, what are we talking about?
Mostly it's opiates. Sometimes it's like, your Ritalin and Adderall, some of the what they call ADHD drugs. Those are all controlled substances. Suboxone is another one. And Suboxone's a drug to help people get off of street opiates, and it kind of helps them to replace the heroin or whatever else they've been using with something that's a little less addictive, but kind of helps satisfy that addiction, so they can kind of a step down drug type thing. And then they can hopefully go ahead and get off of the Suboxone after they've been on that for a couple of months or so. But those are all different controlled substances, and we're being limited on what we can get on a monthly basis from our wholesalers by the DEA. And right now, we're not able to take on any more regular patients. Now, if you have something that's, you've been to the emergency room or you've had surgery and you need like a week's worth or 2 weeks worth of an opiate painkiller, we're still able to do that. But the on general, what we call maintenance drugs, which is a drug that somebody gets on a monthly or a quarterly basis, and generally that's going to be the Adderall or the Suboxone. Some people are on long-term opiate therapy, and those are the ones that we can't take any more people on, because we're already pretty much at the max of what we can order from the wholesaler. So not only do we have supply chain issues, we have this limit on certain types of medications that we can buy each month based on DEA regulations. And it's kind of like I've said before to other people, I'm kind of never thought that I would be in a spot that I would have to turn away business just because I didn't, you didn't want to help people out or whatever. But we're limited on how much of different classes of medications we can get.
That's amazing. And so you've got a patient that wants to transfer their prescription, and you have to tell them that you can't. You're full up. So what is fentanyl? What classification or category of drug is that?
It fits into the opiate category. It's considered a synthetic opiate. It is typically only used inside the hospital and mostly during surgery, or maybe outpatient surgery. They do make patches that are supposed to last 3 days that will release a small amount of fentanyl, and these are for chronic pain patients that have already been on some kind of oral opiate that either they couldn't get the relief, or it's considered, the term is that they've failed on oral opiate therapy. So I kind of hate to throw certain terms out there when it might not mean anything to patients,
sure,
the general population. But that's typically what what the fentanyl patches are for, and it is a much more potent opiate than what you can get otherwise, in hydrocodone or oxycodone. So a smaller amount of it will produce more of the opiate effect, and the kind of the end result is that can cause a depression in your breathing to a point where you stop breathing, and that's where what the fentanyl deaths are mostly related to.
Is the exposure to enough, and it doesn't take much.
It does not.
But it's exposure to enough that it has that kind of effect on folks. You wonder about cause and effect. There's been so much concern over the Oxycontin and other opioid addictions and abuses of those drugs. And then you've got the battle between the patient and the doctor. The patient wants more, and the doctor's like, no, you've got enough. And so you've got those battles going on. And then you've got all the other DEA restrictions that are going on. So you wonder if the explosion in the illegal fentanyl trade is in part a result of the governmental restrictions on the access to the other types of opioids.
I think part of it is. I have also saw a report that, and I hadn't thought about it this way until the report kind of got me to think this way. But as the different states are legalizing marijuana in certain ways, whether it's just medical or where it's recreational, the drug cartels from Mexico that used to be their bread and butter, as I understand. That's what this report had said. And as that has dried up for the drug cartels, they have been switching to fentanyl, and they have also been lacing some of their marijuana with fentanyl to give it a bigger hit or whatever. So
don't buy the stuff at the store. Keep getting our stuff, illegal stuff, because you're going to get a bigger whatever.
And it's cheaper, but it can be laced with fentanyl. So, and it's just different ways, and it's this kind of what was kind of presented to me was this capitalistic market type thing that the drug cartels are doing, and they're being hurt in one area, so they're switching. And some people are saying that they're getting the raw ingredients from China, and that China's very open and helping these places to get the raw ingredients so that they can cook it or whatever that process of making it is. And China's happy to send that stuff because they know it's going to wind up in the United States. The drug cartels are trying to increase their profit, so to speak, when they're being hurt on the marijuana side. So it was just kind of an interesting report to listen to.
It sure is, but it's another factor when you combine it with all the other things that are going on that is having an impact on availability of certain types of drugs and so forth. And it's an interweaved and intertwined. It's not a cut and dry. I mean, there's all kinds of factors that are involved in these things.
That's true, and it would be easier if it was cut and dry, but it's not.
Yeah.
And you get national politics that plays into it, like with the open border. It does make it easier for those people to get the illegal products from Mexico up into the United States.
Unfortunately, that's just a reality of the situation when you've let 2 million people into the country without any kind of real screening that goes on. I mean, they're catching some, but it's so small a percentage compared to what's really coming in. And it's not just your family trying to improve their life. It's Guatemala and Venezuela and other countries emptying their prisons, emptying their psych wards, getting rid of the undesirables, or controlled by the cartels.
Yes.
That are doing the human trafficking and the drug trafficking and the things like that. And we've this is my opinion, of course, but that we basically have lost control of our border. We don't have a border between here and Mexico anymore.
That is my opinion too.
Yeah, and so it affects things like what we've been talking about in this segment. Flu shots, have we gotten into the flu season yet, or is it still plenty of time for folks to get their flu shots if they want to be ready to go for this season?
We have been giving them for about 2 months, and we still have plenty. In our area of the country, it really is about the middle of November when the flu season really kicks up. The Southwest is delayed a little bit from the rest of the country, and I think it's because of the warmer, drier weather that we generally have. And so about the middle of November, we're still giving flu shots. Come in, get them. That's still a good time to get them.
All right. Lowell's Pharmacy has flu shots, so that's good to know. You had a clinic here not too long ago.
We did.
Hope some folks took advantage of that.
We had a fair amount. We were doing the COVID and the flu shots, and the CDC plus the New Mexico Department of Health has been encouraging us to, every time we give a COVID shot, to ask them about their flu shot. You can get them both at the same time. There's not a problem with that. And ideally, the New Mexico Department of Health really is wanting us to give a flu shot every time we give a COVID shot.
Okay. Well, that would be their recommendation, but patient still has the say-so so far?
Absolutely.
Okay.
On that.
Well, that's good.
We're not forcing people to get 2 shots if they want one.
Yeah. Just get the one you want, or get them both. It's whatever you want.
That's correct.
You're making it available. So, well, good. Was there anything else we wanted to share with folks today?
That's all that I really had for today.
Very good. Kirk Irby from Lowell's Pharmacy. And again, if you have any questions on the availability of certain prescriptions, the flu shots, the controlled substance prescriptions, anything like that, or any other question that you want to ask, Kirk, my back hurts. What do I need? And your standard answer is drop 20 pounds. But in the meantime, here, this is something that might help,
Yes.
All right.
We can do that.
There you go. Kirk, thanks a lot.
Sure.
See what Jared's got in the way of news for you. Eddy County Sports Report and Lou Dobbs with the market preview.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Authorities say social media rumors about a search for someone connected to a deadly fire earlier this week in Roswell are false. A young child died in what appears to have been an accidental trailer home fire. The father of the 3-year-old child was also seriously injured in the Monday morning fire on West Brasher Road. A statement issued by RFD said the child was found in a bedroom after the flames were put out. The father was found lying on the ground just outside the home as firefighters pulled up. That man remains hospitalized today with serious burn injuries. It appears the fire started in the bedroom where the child was found, but the exact cause is not yet known. Eddy County Sheriff Mark Cage now publicly supporting Mark Ronchetti's campaign for governor, while also slamming incumbent Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. Cage said the incumbent governor has been, quote, soft on crime during her first term in office. Cage is the focus of a new television commercial for the former television meteorologist who made crime a key focus of his contest. Ronchetti directly blamed Lujan Grisham as being responsible for the murder of a Roswell woman last year. Those allegations came in the case of Christopher Beltran, who had reportedly been released from custody twice for other crimes. While out on bond, he's accused of killing his girlfriend, Dominique Gonzalez. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
It's time for the Eddy County Sports Report. Got a volleyball score from last night as Artesia finishes off the regular season with a sweep of Portales 3-0. The Bulldogs are 16-7 overall, 4-2 heading into the playoffs. The brackets will be announced this weekend. In football action, Artesia's got a bye past the first round of the 5A playoffs as the number 1 seed. In Class 6A, Carlsbad is the 10th seed, and the Cavemen will be playing at number 7 Farmington. Both teams have 5-5 overall records. This game starts at 12 o'clock on Saturday. The winner will take on number 2 La Cueva on the roads. In 2A, Loving is the 6th seed, and the Falcons will play number 3 Santa Rosa. Loving 7-3. Santa Rosa is 8-2. That's tonight at 7 o'clock. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at KSVP Radio, AM 990.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Wall Street heading for a losing week. October unemployment numbers today and crude oil sinking. Those stories next. Lou Dobbs here. I want to tell you about the good folks at Lone Star Transfer. They're the industry leader in helping you get out of your timeshare. If you're stuck in one, you don't have to be. For well over a decade, Lone Star has successfully helped over 18,000 owners legally and permanently get out of their timeshare nightmare. Lone Star Transfer is simply the best in the business, and with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau and thousands of 5-star testimonials, their clients want you to know they trust Lone Star. They're a family-owned company that has earned a reputation for delivering first-class customer service. They guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With rising assessments and maintenance fees, there's never been a better time to get out of your timeshare than now. Call today to receive a free, no-obligation consultation at 844-284-4739. That's 844-284-4739 or online at LoneStarTransfer.com. Stocks struggling to bounce back after the latest interest rate hike. Wall Street coming off its 4th straight losing session. All 3 major indexes on track to post weekly losses. October unemployment data today. Wall Street forecasting a rate of 3.6% for last month, a slight uptick in the unemployment rate, still near a 50-year low. Coupled with this week's strong JOLTS report and a drop in weekly unemployment filings, the labor market remains red hot. Starbucks meet third quarter revenue targets. The coffee giant reported global sales up 7%. Crude oil futures falling this week. West Texas Intermediate crude oil down 2%, settling at just over $88 a barrel. Global economic concerns driven by the Fed's aggressive interest rate campaign. Please join me 3 times each weekday right here on this station. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report 3 times a day here on KSVP in Artesia, New Mexico. The weekend is almost here. We're starting to see some clouds. We're starting to see some sun, all that fun stuff. Let's see what we've got in the way of weather. Steve-O, is it going to be a decent weekend?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Still windy today as high pressure moves back into our area behind that cold front. We'll be in the low 60s for the afternoon high. We should get some sunshine, and that wind will be gusting around 35 to 40 miles per hour through the day. Clear and mid-30s for the overnight hours. Low 70s and sunny on Saturday. Sunday looks good. We're back in the upper 70s with sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All right, Steve-O, thank you very much. Right now, let's take a look at current conditions. Partly cloudy skies out there. We're up to 49 degrees. Going to get real breezy. If you think it's breezy now, it's going to kick up here in about an hour and be extra breezy. Our humidity is 44%. Our dew point is 28. The winds are out of the west at 13 miles per hour. Feels like it's 44 with the winds and the temperature and the humidity. Pressure at 29.92 and edging upwards. Our air quality is 52. We have moderate air quality at this hour. Sunset popping in at 6:03 this evening. Sunrise at 7:19 in the morning, and that's when the balloons hopefully will get to lift off around 7:30 in the morning. As it is Balloons and Tunes weekend. Around the region, breezy, 52 in Carlsbad, 45 in Roswell, some drizzle and 52 in Hobbs, America. Around New Mexico, mostly cloudy, 35 in Albuquerque, some drizzle and 27 in Santa Fe. Partly cloudy, 24 in Cloudcroft, mostly sunny, 29 in Ruidoso, sunshine, 39 in Las Cruces, mostly sunny and 30 in Farmington, cloudy, 18 at Red River. Some drizzle and 40 in Clovis, and in West Texas, partly cloudy, 52 in Lubbock, breezy and 41 in El Paso, and again, mostly sunny, 49 in Artesia. It is Balloons and Tunes weekend, and in the morning, 6:30, 6:45, 7 o'clock, if the weather is good and acceptable for flying, the balloonists will start showing up down in the Eagle Draw between 7th and 13th. There'll be some food trucks down in the 10th Street crossover if you'd like to get some breakfast, and then you can watch all the hot air balloonists launch their balloons. Again, this is all weather permitting. They'll have their weather meetings in the morning, and if everything looks good at that point, then they'll start heading to the Eagle Draw by 7, and then sunrise about 7:20. And if weather is good, they'll launch in the morning. And it'll be the same thing on Sunday, but an hour earlier because of the time change. But there'll be some food trucks, and we'll be there playing some tunes and stuff like that. Then Paper Takes Flight event is at the Ocotillo Saturday afternoon, and then late Saturday afternoon out at Heirloom Acres. There's a community come out and play at Heirloom Acres event put on by H.F. Sinclair. And at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening will be the fire concert with the Artesia High Band. And then something special will happen over Artesia at the conclusion of the fire concert tomorrow. And then Sunday morning there'll be another liftoff again, 6:30, 6:15 or so, 6:30 Sunday morning from the Eagle Draw in Artesia, New Mexico. Hey, we've got some more folks that would love for you to vote or buy or take advantage of their services. So if you would, please pay attention for the next few minutes to what these folks have to say.
This is Eddy County Sheriff Mark Cage. Governor Lujan Grisham is lying to you about a murder. I know the truth because my deputies slapped the cuffs on that coward. The governor twice released Chris Beltran from prison early. 4 days later, he murdered Monique Gonzalez. Now the governor is lying to cover it up. Here's what KOB really said about using them in an ad defending the governor.
This ad clearly misrepresents our original reporting.
Because it's a lie. And here's Monique's grandma.
Her life didn't matter. The governor absolutely should be held accountable for his early release and feel ashamed.
The governor has reduced the prison population by 26% and released hundreds of criminals early along the way. Unfortunately, Monique lost her life because of it. I'm Sheriff Mark Cage, and that's the truth.
Paid for by Mark Ronchetti for governor.
I'm Mark Ronchetti, and I approve this message.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
You're invited to the annual Veterans Day Parade and Celebration, Saturday, November 12th, beginning at 9 a.m. on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn. Featuring guest speakers Sean Nicholson, music from Matt Miller and Tom Blake, and the laying of the wreaths by the Cub Scouts. The parade begins at 10 a.m. and moves north from the courthouse to the Wool Bowl. And enjoy special displays and food vendors after the parade in the Wool Bowl parking lot. To be a part of the event, contact Stephen Lee with the American Legion at 720-272-1455. Join us Saturday, November 12th, 9 a.m. on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn. Sponsored by Roswell Ford.
ENMU Roswell welcomes new and returning students to register online and on campus for the spring 2023 semester. Prepare for brighter days ahead and learn new career skills in arts and sciences, technical and health education right here at home. Classes start January 17th. Talk with an advisor today. Call 575-624-7000 or log on to roswell.enmu.edu.
Success starts here. ENMU Roswell.
This is Larry Marker, independent write-in candidate for Commissioner of Public Lands. Together, we can take back our public lands while preserving the integrity of your vote. It's easy to vote for Larry Marker. On your ballot, go to the space provided for declared write-in candidate. It's under the heading Commissioner of Public Lands. Mark the oval and write in Larry Marker. Together, we can take back our public lands and preserve the integrity of your vote. Go to larrymarker.com for more information. Thank you.
Larry Marker, independent write-in candidate for Commissioner of Public Lands. Paid for by the Friends of Larry Marker.
The legendary Sons of the Pioneers are coming to the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center in Artesia, Friday, November the 11th at 6 p.m., bringing tales of horses, cattle, cowboys, night herds, canyons, and prairies, with classics like Tumbling Tumbleweeds, Cool Water, and Ghost Riders in the Sky. Tickets are just $30 for adults, and students K through 12 are only $10. Get tickets at the Ocotillo box office or at ArtesiaArtsCouncil.com. Sons of the Pioneers, Friday, November 11th, 6 p.m. at the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center. Ad paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax. Get ready to experience a whole new world of fire, magic, and bubbles. The City of Roswell presents Spheres Bubble Show, Saturday and Sunday, November 5th and 6th, 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. at the Roswell Convention Center. Join Blaze Rhines, featured on Season 13 of America's Got Talent, for an immersive and interactive experience, a unique intersection of magic and science that your whole family will never forget. Tickets are just $15 each, or $50 for a VIP 2-pack featuring meet and greet photo and a raincoat for the show. Get tickets now at holdmyticket.com. Spheres Bubble Show, November 5th and 6th at the Roswell Convention Center.
Community safety matters. I'm Yvette Harrell.
Yvette Harrell and her Great Dane Reba are traveling across New Mexico to meet with us.
Reba looks out for my house, just like our police make our families feel secure in their homes. With a tough economy and crime on the rise, we have to look out for our neighbors and our neighborhood protectors.
From Albuquerque to Las Cruces, we're seeing record highs in violent crime. But radical liberal Gabe Vasquez says he wants to defund and deconstruct law enforcement when we need them even more. Yvette Harrell knows better. She's fighting for common sense solutions to make your family safe again.
So I'm working to fund our law enforcement and crack down on criminals who harm police. I'm Yvette Harrell, and I approve this message because your family's safety deserves a watchdog.
Yvette Harrell for Congress. Paid for by Yvette Harrell for Congress.
Welcome back on Good Morning Artesia. Final segment of the 8 o'clock hour. Linda Stevens is here. And I've just been running around trying to find my stuff.
Well, did you put it in an important place where you wouldn't forget it?
Well, I put it...
I mean, if you did, that was the problem. You should never do that.
Yeah. Well,
because those good, safe places have, I think, a black hole or something, and it all of a sudden disappears.
It must be. I could swear at the end of the day yesterday, I put that cup on the charger in my office. It wasn't on the charger in my office. Well, did I put it on the charger in here? It wasn't on the charger in here. So I finally found it in the other studio. And then I got the iPad out, and I knew yesterday that I needed to put the iPad on the charger. I hadn't put it on the charger. I opened it up. It's at 2%. So I had to run back and get my charger. So I've got my charger plugged in here. So
well, I'm glad you're losing your mind like the rest of us.
Yeah. So it's
you're in good company.
It's in low power mode, but I think we're good. I can't remember what it was I was going to look up.
Why you needed your
iPad. So
I had a tenant one time over in Alpine when I was property managing, and he came in one day, and he had a favorite mug, coffee mug.
Right.
And he was on a tear. I mean, he could not find that sucker. He checked out the laundry room, asked if I'd seen it. I'm in my office. I have not seen a wandering coffee mug go by. You know, he'd looked, I mean, places probably where the sun didn't shine, everywhere.
Right.
And I finally said, did you look in the microwave? And he gave me this, like, deer in the headlight look.
Yep.
Took off across the parking lot and came back and said, thanks.
Yep, that's where it was. So, no, I've done that. There we go. For some reason, that info does not pop up on my phone. We have a Zoom call with Larry Marker coming up next hour, and I wanted to send him the Zoom invitation. And normally I just go to the Zoom app on my phone and I tap on meetings.
Yeah.
And then there it is. So
Magic is supposed to happen.
And it says no upcoming meetings. I know there's no upcoming meetings, but I just want to send him my meeting info.
Mm-hmm.
But on the iPad, here it is. I can send an invitation. So I can't send the invitation from the phone app anymore. I used to tap on meetings, and there it was, and then I can share it. But on the iPad, I can. So why is it different between the iPad and the iPhone?
Somebody updated, and one of the machines got the update, or you haven't turned your phone off enough, and you need to turn it off and clear out the apps that are running, and tell it to heal itself, and I don't know.
Right. So I just sent Larry the invitation from my iPad, which I cannot do.
What difference does it make?
Well, it makes a heck of a lot of difference
Okay.
because I use the phone more than I use the iPad.
Okay.
And 3 times yesterday I said to myself, I need to send Larry the invite for the meeting so he could be on the radio today. 3 times I said to do that. 3 times I opened up my phone because my phone is with me more often than anything else. And 3 times I looked at it and go, how do I do that? I can't do that anymore. I'm tapping every button that's on here, and I can't.
And now it's going to,
Okay,
right?
so now you hit the I. So on the app, on the iPad, I hit messages, meetings. There's all the stuff that comes up. Here, I found where they moved it on the stupid phone. So you don't hit meetings on the phone like you hit on the iPad. You hit the I. And
Which
then,
is almost invisible.
and then there's the meeting, and then there's the send the invitation right there. Message, email, copy to clipboard. And so then I could have brought it up there. So
Well, like I
why
said,
did they move it?
to mess with you. And it worked, apparently.
Well, yeah. So that's why I went to get my iPad,
Yes.
because I needed to send him the invitation because we're supposed to have him on.
Now.
And so now I pulled it, and then I saw that I needed to charge it and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, what's going on in your world?
Shred Day on the 18th of this month.
Okay.
Okay. Clark's box truck will be sitting in the south parking lot over at the library.
Okay.
From 10 to 2. The 18th is a Friday. So, if you have anything, documents-wise, that you want to get rid of, bring them. If you have cardboard magazines and newspapers sitting around, junk mail,
Okay.
here's an opportune time. They'll take that too. But, we're here to honor America Recycles Day, which just happens to be on the 15th for reasons they couldn't come on that day. So, we're doing it on the 18th.
Okay.
So, and I've had people ask me if we were ever going to have another one, before we do them in June with our e-waste.
Right.
And I said, well, hang in there just for a minute,
Okay.
So, the 18th, 10 to 2, south parking lot at the library.
At the library. Now, is this for the homeowners, individuals, businesses? Does it matter?
You know what? It really doesn't.
Okay.
A lot of the businesses I know have their own document destruction companies come because I see their big trailers, especially banks. They want it done right now on the spot.
They
Turned
probably
into
have
confetti.
regulations they have to comply
probably
with.
do. And
Yeah.
I know some of the big oil companies have that as well. So, but, if you've got anybody else, you got stuff you want to get rid of now, maybe you do because it's almost tax time again.
Yeah.
And you're trying to clean out and make room for more garbage that, you hold on for 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Bring it,
Old
Yeah.
payroll records
Oh,
or
yeah.
check
And, we
stubs
have
and
such
stuff.
a limited ability to not shred, but to recycle here in Artesia or Carlsbad or Roswell for that matter. So we're pretty much isolated, and when, Keep America Beautiful always talks about recycle this, recycle that, and even New Mexico Clean and Beautiful. Well, guess what, people? We don't have it here, so we do what we can. So this is a great way to at least get some paper out of the landfill.
Okay. So they, do they shred it on the spot, or
No,
does it
they
get
just
taken?
lock it up and take it to their
Massive shredder?
Yeah, the company over in Carlsbad there where they do all the... But they are a document destruction company, so they're bonded and insured, and, they shred all this stuff, and so you don't have to worry about it. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So
if you've got old tax records or paperwork that you've had laying around for 20 years that...
and it's amazing how much you realize you have kept that... Well, the little home shredder all of a sudden overheats and you have to go buy a new one, or it won't take that much, or you can't do as much for as long as you'd like. Here's what you do. Just bring it to us. All you have to do is drive up and hand it to them and on your merry way. So it's no big deal, and there is no charge. It's, it's an event we're doing just for America Recycles Day. So.
Okay. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Do you bring them in a box? Do you bring them in
We don't care how you bring them.
In a garbage sack?
Just get them there.
We'll figure out how
If you want your cardboard box back, fine. If you want to take it, leave it, and let them recycle it, that's fine too.
They can do that too.
Yes, so, they don't shred cardboard, but they will recycle it.
Recycle it.
Yes.
All right. More with Linda Stevens on the other side of the news. Thanks to McDonald's for breakfast today.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is KSVP Artesia. It's 9 o'clock.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The U.S. job market remains robust, maybe a little too robust for the Federal Reserve, which is trying to slow the economy to fight inflation. Employers added 261,000 jobs last month. The unemployment rate crept up to 3.7%. The surprisingly strong report may prompt further significant interest rate hikes by the Fed. As energetic as ever, former President Trump has held another in his ongoing series of Save America rallies. Last night found him in Sioux City, Iowa.
When Republicans take back Congress next week, we'll be fighting for the people of Iowa, and we will win for the people of Iowa. One of the first things we must do is stand up for parents' rights and parental rights. We will get critical race theory out of our schools.
Mr. Trump underscoring his support of Senator Chuck Grassley.
And also, you're going to re-elect one of the great governors in our country, Kim Reynolds, as your representative governor. She's been incredible. Everything she does, it just works.
Mr. Trump continuing to hint at making another run for the White House. Then there's President Biden pitching his student loan giveaway scheme even as it faces legal challenges.
At a college in New Mexico, the president said the government is busy preparing to offer up to $20,000 in debt relief for millions of borrowers.
By the end of this week, the Department of Education will have approved applications of 16 million Americans.
However, a federal appeals court has temporarily blocked the Biden administration's plan after states and conservative groups argued the White House doesn't have the legal authority to broadly cancel student loan debt. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Belt tightening at Twitter. Elon Musk reportedly planning to cut the staff of 7,500 by half. The Dow's up 531 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I'm Lance Wallnau, Christian author and evangelical leader, here to remind you that God's gifts should never be taken for granted. Take, for example, your retirement savings. You've worked hard for your money, and God has rewarded you for that. Now, with record inflation eating away at the value of the U.S. dollar, those rewards are literally being taken from you. But there is a way the faithful can fight back. By diversifying your retirement account into gold, your savings can be protected. And that's what God wants. Even better, a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group allows you to transfer your current retirement funds into gold without fees or penalties. To see how it works, text the word FAITH to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold IRAs. That's FAITH to 989898. Take action right now, and I pray that your family is blessed with continued prosperity.
North Korea has mobilized some of its warplanes, flying them over its territory after it test-fired around 30 ballistic missiles over the past 2 days, including an ICBM yesterday. In response, South Korea scrambled about 80 military aircraft, including advanced F-35 fighter jets, earlier today.
North Korea's Air Force is no match for the modern warplanes from South Korea and its ally, the United States. The North Korean fleet is made up of aircraft from the former Soviet Union and China. Some are from the 1950s. None is thought to be less than 30 years old. Just keeping them airworthy must be a challenge. But Pyongyang is furious at an extended military air exercise. It no doubt wanted to remind its enemies that it too has an air force.
The BBC's Michael Bristow. U.S. and South Korean forces have been conducting joint Vigilant Storm aerial exercises. News and analysis, townhall.com. Some big corporate names stepping back from the Twitterverse.
General Mills and Audi are the latest big advertisers to pause ads on Twitter as questions swirl about how the social media platform will operate under new owner Elon Musk. A spokesperson for the maker of Cheerios and Annie's Macaroni and Cheese confirmed the move Thursday. Last week, General Motors announced it had temporarily paused its Twitter advertising while it works to understand Twitter's direction under Musk's ownership. GM described the pause as a normal step it takes when a media platform undergoes significant change. An Audi spokeswoman said the German automaker is pausing ads and will continue to evaluate the situation. Keith Peters reporting.
Starbucks revenue rose 3%, hitting a record $8.41 billion in its fiscal fourth quarter. U.S. customers shrugging aside higher prices on frothy drinks and snacks. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Today's KSVIP is Sandy Schutz. Sandy is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to a wonderful, giving person. She does so much volunteer work with her church, APS, Meals on Wheels, and Friends of the Library. So have a wonderful day, and thank you for all you do. And this is from your fan club. Today, Sandy, you're going to receive a flower from Lovebud Floral and KSVP. Today's KSVIP, Sandy Schutz.
Mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters, but so far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really, really white and nerdy.
Okay, I admit it. There's one term from the electric vehicle world that I have started using.
Okay.
State of charge.
Oh, Lord. Help us all.
If you have an electric car or truck, then you're going to learn to use that phrase all the time. I've got 60% state of charge.
I'm not going to have that problem.
You're not?
No, because I want real gas. I want to get where I'm going in a reasonable amount of time, and
Linda,
not have to
you're
find
not.
something to do. I really don't care. And
You're
we're
not understanding what we're doing here.
Yeah, I know. See, neither is the rest of the world that decided this is what we needed.
You realize in
It's
2030,
not going to work.
in 2030, some states in the country will not let you buy a new car with a gas engine in it.
And you know what? Hopefully they'll come to their senses between now and then.
And I'm guessing more states will adopt that same policy. And so you'll probably have by 2035, let's just say by 2032, 10 years from now, most locations in the country, it'll be extremely difficult to find a new ICE-powered car.
What it takes to manufacture the battery.
I know. Doesn't matter.
Obscene.
Doesn't matter.
The destroying the earth and
Doesn't
digging
matter.
and mining, and where you have a little pump jack out there that's not doing anything but taking up a little bit of space, and you've created something that looks like Santa Rita copper mine.
You don't understand, Linda.
Don't get me started.
You don't
I'm
understand.
Not well,
Climate,
I have a cough.
climate
You're driving
change.
me crazy.
I know. Look, I'm agreeing. I know exactly. Climate change is the existential threat. It won't matter. Anything else that we do will not matter if we don't stop now. Go carbon free, because we're all going to be dead anyway.
Do you think that all of that equipment that is digging out the earth to get this lithium or whatever else is in these batteries is electric vehicles?
But Linda, you're not listening to
diesel.
me. It is an existential threat, and we will all die, and we will kill the earth if we don't do this, no matter the cost.
And I'm fixing to say something over the air.
But that's the way they think.
That's a pile of dung.
I know, but that's the way they think.
Yeah, well, they're not seeing the big picture.
No. We're not seeing the big picture.
No.
You don't.
We're the ones with the common sense.
I
They're the ones that are off the rail.
I understand. We are not seeing the big picture. The big picture is the Earth will be destroyed. Is the big picture.
And what does it take to make electricity?
It doesn't matter, Linda. You're not
coal?
seeing the big
Nuclear?
picture. You're not seeing the big picture. The Earth is going to die if we don't do this. So it doesn't matter where we get the materials or what the cost
and read
is.
The Bible. The Earth is not going to die. I mean, we're doing a good job of destroying it, being stupid.
Yeah.
But you know what? The cycles of ice age and heat waves are a cycle, meaning they come and they go
I
for
know
millions
that,
of years.
but we're not.
So just hang in there and you'll get back to freezing your ever-loving off.
We're not teaching that.
Yeah.
At the education level, we're churning out generations of
stupid people that have no common sense whatsoever and are not taught to be able to think for themselves.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, let's plug it in. It's electric. Well, guess what? You manufactured that electricity somehow. There's not enough chargers in this country.
Wind and solar.
When you have,
wind and solar,
which can't be recycled when when the wind machines break down. No, I
agree
would
with
love
you.
to go to Congress and give them an earful.
Here's Carlsbad Local Magazine, and they have an article here. Chevron offers tour of new solar field in Eddy County. The county commissioner mentioned this on his report this week, that one of the actions that the county commission took was to continue with some of the industrial revenue bonds that have been approved through the county for this solar facility that Chevron is building. And this is the article here. One of the goals with the solar array is to lower carbon intensity and grow new energies. Makes it sound like energy is a plant.
Yeah.
Can we plant
Let's
energy weed?
Water here and plow this up and
Power from the Hayhurst, New Mexico S10 electrical compression station will help lower carbon intensity. That's a term I've never heard before.
And where is this located?
Near Carlsbad.
Okay.
The station, with power coming from the solar array, will compress low-pressure gas to high-pressure gas. So they're going to use it in the natural gas process that they're doing. Chevron's renewable power integration team aims to lead the future of energy by finding solutions that are affordable, reliable, and cleaner. What they're doing is they built this massive solar array, and they're going to use the energy generated from it to be less reliant on the grid for power during certain times of the day in the natural gas movement and process. There's no, according to the commissioners, not any storage facility, so it's not like they're going to store it in batteries for when they need it. But during the time of the day, when the sun is shining and the solar panels are active, they won't be pulling off the grid, which would make the grid more available for other people to run their air conditioners and stuff like that.
Late 70s, early 80s, they had a big thing about building solar.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't mean necessarily solar panels on your roof. It meant passive solar, building solar.
Right.
When we built a house there at Deming, I went over to New Mexico State University and took some classes they were offering on solar and how to build and how to, because you need to figure out the proper angle to face your home, which was obviously south, but for the windows, and how much of an overhang you need, because in this part of the country, the sun is further south and shining in, and you may still be using the air conditioner because it's not cold out yet, as opposed to up north where the temperatures are different.
Right.
And it worked great because I didn't want a propane hookup to this house. So it was 2-story. The front had 6 huge windows on the top level and 6 on the bottom. The living room was open 2 stories. The coldest room in the house was the northwest bedroom. For some reason, the air just wouldn't go right around that little, and it was just from the living room, it was like if you walked into the hall, you could stick your arm in the bedroom. I mean, it was that close. But that was the coldest bedroom for whatever reason. One window in that bedroom facing north. There were only 2 windows on the west side of the house because you don't need the heat, and those were bathroom windows. The downstairs and the upstairs bedroom that faced south each had a window. And then the upstairs, like I said, the living room was open 2 stories, so it was like a balcony all the way around with shutters that would close off the master upstairs. And we kept a notebook for a year as what the temperature in the house was be at 10 o'clock at night and at 6 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was ever sick because you didn't have forced air furnace blowing on you.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a wood stove, but not the first winter because we moved in right before Thanksgiving and it was a winter. And I think it was Thanksgiving or Christmas, one of those. It was like really cold. So clouds, so we borrowed a heater from one of the contractors. It was those kerosene heaters and managed to get it up 70 degrees in there, but it was fine.
Right.
But other than that, we had a little bitty wood stove, and that sucker would run you out. If you thought you were cold and you came home and put logs in there, one day I did, and I turned that pipe white. And then I had to go around opening all the doors and the windows, but most efficient. The mistake we made, we could have had the overhang on the bottom windows, maybe 3 to 4 inches more of an overhang to keep the sun from shining in. Because, like I said, the time of the year you get more sun, and yet you're fighting with an air conditioner.
Yeah.
So, yes, we had a swamp cooler, but it was central, so every room had air if they so chose. Worked great. And like I said, the kids never were sick because you didn't have that forced air blowing on you, and the temperature, hot or cold, hot or cold, hot or cold.
Yeah.
And we had a saltillo tile floor in the living room, which collected warmth, and window coverings on the bottom so you could close them at night. And to be super efficient, I should have had them on the top. But, there's a limit at how you can figure out how to close these. And so it wasn't truly as efficient as it could have been, because if the windows had been covered, it would have been a lot more efficient.
Yeah.
But we have so few really cloudy days, it worked great. And then you didn't have to spend on propane either,
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people are looking at solar now just because of how expensive their gas and electric bills are, because of all the surcharges and the supply chain issues and everything else. And it doesn't sound like we're fixing the long-term problem. If anything, we're shutting down coal plants and going to leaning more on wind and solar. Even though we don't have the storage capability, and if all we have left are natural gas plants to supplement the grid, then you know what that's going to do to the price of natural gas.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's not any competition there for different types of generation. And so we're lining ourselves up, and we're setting ourselves up for some massive expenses. And I think some people want that on purpose. They want to drive us in that direction on purpose to send us back to the Stone Age in terms of our activity, our level of activity. But I go back to what you said earlier, is that, well, where is the electricity going to come from?
Yeah, that has to be generated. It's just because you plug something into the wall. Well, guess what? All that comes from something. You have to make it. It's not something that you just run a wire and magically you have electricity.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nikola Tesla, not the car guy, but the inventor, tried that and could not make it work. One of his dreams was to just control the flow of electricity through the air. And so through his capture it,
okay,
and then just kind of transfer it through the air, kind of like how cell signals work and other radio signals work and TV signals work that fly through the air. And he never could figure out how to make that work. He was brilliant in so many areas and enhanced so many things in the early days of generation and distribution of electricity. But that was one of his dreams that he could envision, but he couldn't make it work.
That almost sounds like what have you been smoking? But whatever.
But that would have been interesting if we could harness the natural electricity that's in the air. But I don't know. And you're clean and beautiful. You talk about recycling, and you got your shred day, and we recycle cans, and we recycle cardboard, and we recycle electronics. But here in a few years, California is the first state that's really going to be hit hard. We're hitting end of life for all these solar panels, and that were put in 20, 25 years ago. You can't throw them in the landfill. There's toxic chemicals and stuff like that.
Surprise, guys. What are you going to do?
They recycled. And then the wind turbines that we've been constructing all over the countryside.
They have a shelf life.
They have a shelf life too, or things happen to them, and they're not like other materials that can be broken down. They, unless they get broken, they're however many feet long of this material.
If you've ever seen the blades going through town on a flatbed.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
And it takes fossil fuels to lubricate and all that kind of stuff. And if we decide that we want to kill oil and gas today, that's fine. Where's the rubber going to come from for your tires? Where's the asphalt going to come from for your roads?
Yeah, they don't think about that.
Where's the materials that are going to come from for your phones and your tablets? And how is the stuff going to get to where it needs to go? How are we going to get it from China?
Yeah. Electric ships?
Electric ships.
Yeah, that's going to fly, right.
And would you hop on the electric airplane?
No. There is no thinking about that. It's a flat no. I prefer that good jet fuel.
Yeah. There was a clip of some idiot.
Sorry, we can't have a war today. Our planes are all charging.
Our planes are charging.
Yeah, how does that sound?
Exactly. Well, we'll just fight at night, but we'll attack at night. There's some people that actually say we ought to end all farming. And it's like, really?
What have they been smoking?
Where's your food going to come from, you stupid, blithering idiot? And that's happening in agriculture now. There's countries around the world that are putting massive restrictions on the access to the fertilizers and the other chemicals that we use that have allowed us to go from having a mostly agricultural economy and culture to an industrial culture with a few farmers feeding the world.
Yes.
And we're about to kill that because we've got to roll it back to non-pesticides, non-chemicals, non-geogenetic design,
well, guess what?
all this
you
other
just
kind of
don't
stuff.
go to Walmart and get it off the cooler.
Apparently that's what they think
it's
you
not
do.
manufactured in the little back room with a bunch of little elves. God, people are stupid.
I know, but
they're unbelievably stupid.
I think the Netherlands is one of the countries now that they're imposing these European carbon restrictions, and the farmers are going like, well, we can't farm, and then you've got people that say, yeah, we need to get rid of farming because of it's commercialized and it's all this other kind of stuff.
There won't be any obese people left.
Well, I guess that's the end solution.
They'll all start looking like we did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And now if somebody looks like that, they think, ooh, they're anorexic. There's something wrong. They're way too skinny.
Yeah.
No, those are normal people.
That's what we're headed back to. But that's what the kids in many places across the country, that's what they're being taught. That's what they're being educated. That's what they're being told. And so then they come out of high school and they come out of college.
Well, when they're starving...
And then they get elected to Congress.
Oh, God almighty. Yeah. When they're starving to death, maybe they'll figure something. Let's tie in voting with that. I have a voter book.
All right.
I printed out a sample.
There's an actual book?
Yes.
Okay. A voter book. Huh.
Yes. You can go down to the county clerk where you're going to vote early, whatever.
All right.
It's in Spanish. It's in English.
Okay. Is it in Navajo?
Oh, don't start with me. You've already done that. Okay, printed my sample ballot.
Right.
Looking at Amendment 2.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I don't have glasses on. I'm not going to read it. It's all one sentence.
I've got it right here if you want me to read it. You want me to read it?
Well, let me explain this nonsense first.
Okay.
I kind of think that I'm halfway intelligent and can understand things.
Right.
But a lot of amendments are written in legalese. because they really don't want you to understand them necessarily. And sometimes when you vote yes on something, you're really saying no.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that makes any sense.
It does.
And vice versa. If you vote no, I don't want this, you're saying yes. And it all depends on how something is worded. So I was talking to a friend of mine who doesn't live in this state, and they said, well, go down and get you a voter book.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So I went down, and I was going to sit there and read it and understand. I said, oh, no, take it with you. We have cases of those stupid things. We're thrilled to death if somebody wants one. So before you all go vote,
Mm-hmm.
print you a ballot. Or if you don't want to print it, just at least pull it up on the net.
I've got mine.
You know,
it's right here.
And you can study it and figure out what you want so you don't, what they do call a sold ballot. If you happen to mark a place that you really don't want and you want to change it, it's considered sold, and you have to do all kinds of stuff, and so do they. So to save that kind of time, get you a book. It explains it. It will break it down. It will give you the pros for this amendment and the cons for this amendment so that you can actually understand it.
Okay.
They do this on purpose. They should write simple, so because if I can't understand it, I think that there's a whole lot of people out there that can't understand it, and they'll just, I'll vote for it. If you don't understand it, don't vote for it, is my thoughts at all.
Okay.
But they're free, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Take it home, study it, read it. You don't have a whole lot of days left, but be educated on what you are voting for. It's very important that you know what you're voting for, because a lot of this involves money, which is you're going to end up paying for. People say, oh, the government. Well, guess who the government is, y'all?
Mm-hmm.
That's you and me when we pay taxes, and it comes out of our pocketbook.
Yeah.
So think about that. But be educated before you go
the
to
book.
vote.
You can go
read Amendment 2. It's a very long paragraph. It's a very long one sentence.
Proposing to amend Article 9, Section 14 of the Constitution of New Mexico to allow public investment to provide access to essential household services, including internet, energy, water, wastewater, and other similar services as provided by law, comma, upon the enactment of general implementing legislation by a majority vote of the members elected to each house of the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't even need a 2/3 majority. They can just have a simple majority. And if they decide that they want to put in a solar facility, then they can, and public money wants to be used to help build that thing.
Yeah, but
then
there's a little bit more in the explanation.
Well, that's all that's on the ballot.
I know.
Okay.
So that's why I said
get the book.
You need to really read.
Okay.
And if you don't want to understand it, then like I said, just pass that one up and don't vote for it. But any of the amendments, really.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea. They have pallets of books at the
well, not
sub-office.
pallets, but they had a couple of cases full. So.
Cases of books that came in on a pallet.
That you could go pick up and read.
And they're free of charge.
Yes, they are.
They're free to you.
Right.
I mean, you've already paid for them through
Somewhere
your taxes.
along the line, you just don't know that.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. And then
One
Shred
more
Day.
thing.
Well, we've got what?
I know.
Real
2
quick.
seconds. If you know anybody that can work on these rock walls that are around town,
Mm-hmm.
give me a call, please.
Okay.
I have one that I keep watching that's going to biodegrade one of these days. And I
Okay.
had it repaired years ago at a place, and it was wonderful. Who in the world it was, I have no clue. But, yeah, need help. So, mark down the 18th of this month, Friday, Shred Day. Dig
Okay.
out your documents.
Okay.
10 to 2, South parking lot at the library.
Be there or be square.
If you need more information, call me.
And your number?
I knew you were going to ask. Call my cell. What the heck? That way you can get a hold of me. 575-513-0143.
All right. Thank you, Linda. We're going to open up the Zoom room. Get Aaron in here next.
We're in challenging dark times, like being in the Carlsbad Caverns without a light, or on the plains of the White Sands at night. We've lacked the light of real leadership in Washington. But in New Mexico, we've got Congresswoman Yvette Harrow fighting for us against the woke radical liberals in Washington who look down on us. Yvette Harrow fights to secure our southern border and stop the flood of crime and drugs. Yvette Harrell fights for the energy industry that creates New Mexico jobs and can end America's reliance on foreign oil. Yvette Harrell fights for our neighbors, friends, and family's safety by standing with law enforcement against the radicals who want to defund the police. The woke, radical, liberal Democrats have failed us, but we've got our Congresswoman, Yvette Harrell, fighting them, leading for us. Paid for by Right Women PAC, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. RightWomen.com.
Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here, and I can tell you it's not always easy being a female in a male-dominated business like roofing. I remember one time I was at a meeting to bid on the roof for a local college, and it was me and 13 men. Well, I won that bid, and I'd like to win your business too. My dad was a contractor, and I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
HF Sinclair is throwing a community-wide party, and it's all free. So bring your family and friends. Come out to Heirloom Acres this Saturday, November 5th, 3 until 7 p.m. for free hot dogs, free face painting and pumpkin smashing, a free zip line and photo booth, a free corn maze and tractor train rides, plus lots of HF Sinclair giveaways. Fun for all and totally free. The HF Sinclair Community Party, Saturday, November 5th, 3 until 7 p.m. at Heirloom Acres. HF Sinclair, formerly Holly Frontier. A new name, but definitely not new to the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm New Mexico's 5th District Division 1 Judge, Eileen Reardon. This district covers Chavez, Lee, and Eddy counties. I want to thank all my supporters who believe in me and who have or will vote for me. I have integrity, honesty, and have consistently, to the best of my abilities, performed my judicial duties, and I want to continue as your 5th District Judge. As a voter, it's your privilege to go vote. You can vote early until November 5th or on Election Day, November 8th. Show your support by voting. I'm 5th District Judge Eileen Reardon, and I thank you.
Paid for by the Committee-elect Judge Reardon, Steve McCutcheon, Treasurer.
I'm Judge Reardon, and I approve this message.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor. John runs with us. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 3 Series tractor with 0% APR for 72 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2316.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia or Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Hello, I'm Jimmy G. Mason, candidate for New Mexico District 66 House of Representatives. We're about to come to the end of this election, and I'm asking for you to vote and vote Republican. We need a change in Santa Fe. This message brought to you by the committee to elect Jimmy G. Mason. Thank you, God bless you, and New Mexico.
New Mexico, New Mexico, New Mexico.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here, too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent, too?
It's called service.
In Artesia, contact Sandy Stockton at 575-748-1111.
Pressure Services LLC in Artesia has immediate openings for experienced vacuum truck, kill truck, and hydrovac operators. Operators must hold a Class A CDL or Class D CDL, at least 2 years of experience, and be at least 25 years of age. All positions require a clean driving record and must be able to pass a DOT drug and alcohol screen. Pressure Services offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contributions toward health benefits. Please apply in person at 402 West Main in Artesia, inside the Age Safety Facility. Equal Opportunity Employer.
Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. And Aaron Irving, you know, Lana and I were sitting together having a cup of coffee last night. And her alerts went off on her phone because she follows some of the TV stations. And she showed me the statement from the general manager of KOB Television saying, we take our integrity of our news department seriously. If the campaign or the whistleblower wants to come forward with the evidence, we want to see it. Looks like you're showing on your screen the evidence.
Yeah.
What is KOB? And this is the Ronchetti campaign that's accusing the governor's campaign of colluding with KOB TV?
Well, it's actually, there's an attorney that received the copies of the text messages, and so he put some of them out there. He didn't put all of them out there, and so, but yeah, the ones that are out there are seems to be obvious collusion, and definitely something to look at. And then apparently one of the, I've got his tweets, but one of the people from KOB, not the general manager, knew the person that those texts were allegedly from, and seemed that kind of that's really what happened, and the person was disgruntled and things. So.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. My only experience in something like that was way back in the day when I was at my first job in Iowa. And we had a news director, and he was interviewing candidates for various offices. And back then, everything was done on reel-to-reel tape. Computers for that purpose, had they been invented, were extremely expensive, and we weren't going to have them in at KROS. And so we had two news people at the time that were working there. And so one of the rules that we had is when you got ready to use a tape to record something, listen to it first to see if there's anything on there that needs to be saved before you bulk erase it or record over the top of it.
Oh, right.
So the second news guy pulls the tape, puts it on the machine, and starts to listen to it to see if there's any news content on there that needs to be saved, any, interview material or whatever. And he has on tape the other news guy telling one of the candidates that he is going to shape the news to be favorable to him on the radio station. So there was the evidence on the tape. So he grabs the tape, he goes into the GM's office, and I mean immediately they called that other guy in and handed him his walking papers and kicked him out of there. Because it's one thing for the commentary side,
right,
to express opinions under the commentary side, but you don't want your news department tainted. At least that's how it used to be.
Right. Yeah.
Back in the day.
We would like that to be an even playing field for everybody. That's the way it should be. And yeah, and they some of the text on this thing intimate that there was kind of some of that going on too, where they make it look like they're the good cop and bad cop and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand why people can't just put out a level playing field, let the best person win. Let's talk about what we really believe and what our ideas really are, and what we're really like, and then let the voters decide from there. But no, we got to hide the bad stuff, even though we're going to do that. We're going to kill the babies and all that stuff, and then we've got to project our negatives onto the opposing candidate and say that's what they're going to do. And yeah, it's just frustrating. Just say what you're going to do. Say what you are and who you are.
Yeah.
Let it be. But.
Well, and the other thing, too, is in this particular case, in the governor's race in New Mexico, you have a candidate who does not have a political track record. So how do you pin things on them when there is no record of them holding elected office and voting for anything? You can only go by opinions that are expressed. The other candidate, the incumbent in this race, has a voting record. They have a
very clear voting record.
They have a governmental record and they have a voting record. They've been in the House, they've been in the state legislature, they've been in state government, they've been administrator of the state government. And so it's not negative advertising if you comment on their record. but we're being told that that's negative advertising and we can't do it. Well, if I can't talk about your actual record, whether it was at the Department of Health or in the U.S. Congress or in the state government, if we can't comment on that, then what are we supposed to do? You can't
just vote for her and keep quiet, right?
And keep quiet. Yeah. So it's interesting. But yeah, Alana showed me last night. I read the statement from the TV station, and that's an obvious statement that the TV general manager is going to say, because at this point they've either it's legitimate allegations and some heads need to roll, or it's campaign posturing, and it's an unfortunate case that their reputation is going to be affected by this. And so it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. I had a visitor yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, Christina Mann.
Oh, okay.
And I sent Jeffrey the picture. We had our picture taken here in the old studio. Let me see if I can find it here. I'll hold it up to the webcam so you can see the picture. I don't know if you can see her there.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. So she paid a visit, and she brought me some pure golden honey, honeycomb in a can.
Wow.
Never touched by human hands, she said.
Cool.
And so I'm looking at that, and I said, how come it's not in the shape of a bear? With a little cap on the top.
Yeah, doesn't it come out of the comb that
way? And so it was very nice to meet her. She had an article written about her in the Carlsbad Local, which it looks to me is an actual printed paper of information. And she was featured in the article in the Carlsbad Local magazine, talking about the honeybees and stuff like that, the killer bees. And so it's in the, and she mentions KSVP. It's in the October V4 2022 edition of Carlsbad Local, if you want to read it. And she brought some flowers for Tana with some instructions on that. So it was very nice to meet Christina. She was on her way to an extraction here in Artesia yesterday.
Oh, very good.
And apparently I need to change the front of the building.
Uh-oh.
Because it doesn't say radio station.
Oh.
It doesn't say KSVP for that matter. And so she was on the phone with Tana trying to find the radio station. She drove past it a couple of times before she finally landed upon it.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest with you, if you look at the front of the building, nowhere does it say KSVP radio station.
Huh.
It says Pecos Valley Broadcasting, and has a real nice...
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. And there's a banner in the window that says KSVP.
Yeah, because you're not just KSVP, you're beyond that.
Exactly.
More than KSVP.
More than KSVP. But it is the KSVP building, and we do have that history and tradition, so I guess I need to get the whatever you paint on the windows, I need to get some paint and just write KSVP on it in my...
With paint?
Yeah. And maybe that'd help. But it was nice to meet her yesterday, so that was fun.
Good.
Well, what do you have for us on a Friday that'll hopefully put a smile on our face other than your wonderful slideshow?
Yeah, definitely vote. Well, I've got a story about Jim.
Okay.
Jim had an awful day fishing on the lake, sitting in the blazing sun all day without catching a single fish. On his way home, he stopped at the supermarket and ordered 4 catfish. He told the fish salesman behind the counter, "Pick 4 large ones and throw them at me, will you?" "Why do you want me to throw them at you?" "Because I want to tell my wife that I caught them." "Okay, but I suggest that you take the orange trout." "Why is that?" "Because your wife came in earlier and said that if you came by, I should tell you to take the orange trout. That's what she wants for supper tonight."
Busted.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it.
Did you know that electric razors are the best thing since sliced beard?
Or cheeks, or necks, or...
Right?
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I agree.
Yeah. Got one more for you.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to stop calling my bathroom John, and I renamed it Jim. Feels so much better saying I went to the gym this morning.
Well, you're looking good. What are you doing?
Went to the gym 5 times this morning already.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tell Tana, anybody that calls or walks in and says, "Where's Gene?" Well, he's at the gym right now.
He went to the gym. Back in a minute.
I do spend a lot of time in the gym, and what's kind of sad is we have motion sensor light switches that time out after 5 minutes. And I will admit, once or twice I've been sitting in there and then the light goes out.
You got to throw a toilet paper roll over.
Got to wave my hand here. Hey, I'm still here. I'm sorry.
Just think when the locations get even better on your phone, it can say you spent a total of
I don't want to see that report. So, all right, we're going to interview Larry Marker when you're done. So why don't we go ahead and get started with your update? Is that okay?
All right. This is Aaron Irving with LPL Financial, member of FINRA and the SIPC, bringing you your mid-morning stock market report for Friday, November the 4th. Stocks rose today, but all the major averages are down for the week as investors digest the October jobs report and what it means for the pace of future Federal Reserve rate hikes. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 1.4%, while the S&P 500 and NASDAQ Composite were up 1.3% and 1% respectively. The better-than-expected October non-farm payrolls report today further fueled some concerns that the Fed will persist with its tightening campaign. The report showed 261,000 jobs added in October, surpassing a Dow Jones estimate of 205,000 additions. However, the unemployment rate came up to 3.7%, which was slightly above the expected 3.5%. Some investors viewed today's jobs print as a mixed picture, given the rise in both unemployment and jobs. In other news, hopes of a reopening in China pushed shares of U.S.-listed China stocks higher today, although the government hasn't formally announced a pivot. Pinduoduo, JD.com, and Alibaba shares all surged. Investors continued assessing the latest 75 basis point rate hike from the Fed and when a pivot may come. Despite today's gains, all the major averages are on track to close out the week with losses, with the Dow down 0.9% and set to end 4 weeks of gains. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ Composite are down 2.8% and 5.1% respectively, and on pace to break 2-week winning streaks. The tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite is also on course for its worst weekly performance since January of this year. Corporate earnings season continued with mobile payment company Block surging 17% after beating expectations. Carvana shares dropped as it posted a wider than expected loss. Currently, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 218 points to 32,219. The S&P 500 is 16 points higher at 3,736. And the NASDAQ Composite is up by 15 points to 10,358. West Texas Intermediate crude is up $3.27 a barrel to $91.44. Stocks of local interest. HF Sinclair is down 25 cents a share to $62.95. Walmart is 54 cents lower at $140.18 a share. EOG Resources is up $4.51 a share to $142.88. And Oxy Petroleum is $1.28 higher at $73.38 a share. This is Aaron Irving with Oakley & Irving Wealth Management, serving business owners and energy industry professionals in the Pecos Valley and beyond. You can find us at oiwealth.com or at our offices in Artesia and Carlsbad. You can call us at 575-887-7075. All entities are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA, and the SIPC.
All right, Aaron, you have a wonderful day today, and we'll see you next week.
All right, you too.
We're going to take a quick break. Sean Hannity has a thought on the news of the day. That's next, and then we'll be joined by Larry Marker, and we want you to stick around. Don't go away. Need to ship a package? Choose UPS. Need to ship a package UPS from Artesia? Bring your package to Brown Drug. Brown Drug wants to be your UPS shipping center in Artesia. Use Brown Drug as your UPS shipping center, and we'll reward you by shipping your 11th package 5 pounds or less for free. If you want to make sure your package arrives on time, use UPS. The easy and convenient place to ship UPS in Artesia is Brown Drug at the corner of 4th and Washington.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
In 2020, if you look at Joe Biden, his margin of victory was only 43,000 votes in 3 swing states. And that would be Georgia, that would be Arizona, and I believe Pennsylvania was the third one, or Wisconsin, one of the two. So despite all of this, all of these predictions that are out there, I am telling you to expect every one of these races that we can win, that I hope we win, that the conditions are right for us to win, that it'll happen. But if you don't take the seriousness of voting to the level of urgency that is needed, you could wake up and say, what happened? And I don't want you to say, what happened to me? I am telling you, assume the races are close.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I wish this bag under my eye would just go away. If that sounds like you every morning, you're not alone. Under eye bags and puffiness are problems for millions of American men and women until now. Try the new Genucel serum with plant stem cell technology, and with its instant effects, you'll see results in the first 12 hours or your money back guaranteed. Order now at Genucel.com/radio and save 65% off Genucel's most popular package. That's GENUCEL.com/radio, Genucel.com/radio.
Back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. I think we're all getting coffee together. So joining us now is Mr. Larry Marker. And Larry, good morning. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning.
How you doing this morning, sir? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, you sound great. And you look great. Got your nice shirt on. So
Yes.
we have a TV audience as well as our radio audience. We have a lot of folks that watch us on KSVPTV.com, KSVPRadio.com, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. So we appreciate you taking time to join us here today. And Larry's name, for those of you that have already gotten your sample ballot so you can figure out who you're going to vote for, you're not going to see Larry's name on the ballot, but you are going to see a spot where it says Commissioner of Public Lands, certified, or not certified, declared write-in candidate. And that's what we want to talk about today. Larry's running for Commissioner of Public Lands. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Larry, and what's your background that will help you be a land commissioner for the state of New Mexico.
Okay, I'll just get started real early, and I'll run through this pretty quick because there's a lot to it, but I'll just hit some of the high spots. I was born in Hobbs in 63. Grew up southeastern New Mexico. I'm a southeastern New Mexico guy, born and raised New Mexican. And I hope to always be in New Mexico. This last few years have been a bit of a challenge. I've been in various different businesses. I was a garage door business for several years. Been in the oil and gas business the last 12 years as an independent oil and gas operator. Kind of ironically, I was kind of tired of dealing with the general public, and I just wanted to get out and work on my own and just, get out and just go to work. So I ended up buying a bunch more little stripper wells, what we call stripper wells. So last 12 years, I've been an independent oil and gas producer. Well, then the the regulatory climate in New Mexico became such that I figured we needed to do something. So I started going to legislative sessions and various different rulemaking hearings and lawmaking stuff, various different things. Well, as I progressed, I determined the best thing for me to do for the state of New Mexico and for the industry and for my family was to run for the commissioner of public lands.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, as you can tell, I'm talking kind of fast because I know we're limited in time.
Yeah, well, we've
the
got
last
about
6 or 8 months.
We've got about
Go ahead,
10, 12 minutes, so we're in good shape.
Okay. So what qualifies me to be the commissioner of public lands? Obviously, I've been, in the oil and gas industry. I'm familiar with state leases, some of the things that's gone on the last few years in the state government. We've grown our regulatory agencies. We've done a good job growing those. Unfortunately, that's making the industry shrink. And it's not just about that. It's the grazing rights, the farmers, the ranchers mainly. Out north of Roswell here, where I actually live, there are actually some farms that are on state trust land. The state land commissioner is in charge of managing our 9 million surface acres and our 13.5 million subsurface acres. The state land commissioner actually has a lot of discretionary authority that nobody really knows about. It's never really been that big of a problem in New Mexico until the last few years when the environmental activism has moved in, and it's really causing some issues with the oil and gas industry, mainly the smaller independent producers or the medium-sized producers. So it's really caused some problems. As your land commissioner, obviously I'll be an advocate for the oil and gas industry and a supporter of that, but I'll also be an advocate for the mining industry, the ranching, and what farms we do have on state trust land. The original intention of the state land office was to generate revenue for the citizens of the state of New Mexico. The state land office is supposed to be a revenue generating entity. It's actually not an agency. The state land office, the state land commissioner does not serve at the pleasure of the governor, and he doesn't get his budget from the state legislature. He doesn't have to have his budget approved by the legislature. So the reality of it is the state land commissioner answers only to Jesus Christ and the citizens of the state of New Mexico. And I like to say everybody else can just go pound sand. My focus as state land commissioner is going to be returning the state land office to its original intention, to generating revenue while preserving the asset. The asset being the state trust land. It's a simple job. It's a simple job description. How it has become so infected is beyond me. But that is my position. I'm going to return the state land office to what it's supposed to be, a supporter and advocate for the people that generate revenue on state trust land, and obviously preserve the value of the asset for future generations. That's kind of a simplified version of why I'm qualified and what I intend to do. But that's what you have right there. As far as being the write-in candidate and an independent, that gets a little complicated, but I could hit that too.
Well, you mentioned something, stripper wells. I think that's one of the areas that maybe is misunderstood or people don't quite understand, but that seems one of the areas that the environmentalists, whether it's at the federal government or the state government, want to shut down and keep from happening and keep from continuing. And then the grazing rights and where you can graze cattle and how many cattle you can graze. All these things have really been restricted tremendously over the last couple of governor cycles. Are you prepared when the governor calls or whoever is in state government, the environmental EPA or whatever, and they come calling on the land commissioner and say, hey, you guys really need to go green over here? What are you going to say when that call comes in? Because I'm sure there's a lot of influence that's being impressed upon the Public Land Commission right now.
Well, part of the reason I decided to run as an independent is the state land office is supposed to be a separate entity from the state government. The state land office is not part of the executive branch, the legislative branch, or the judicial branch. It's a separate entity, and like I said, it's supposed to generate revenue and preserve the value. As far as outside influences, that is my main focus, is to get rid of those influences and go back to the Constitution and the Enabling Act, which when we became a state, one of the deals we made is what the state land office would do. The state land office is actually older than the state government in this. That's kind of an odd deal. But constitutionally, I am limited to a very, very specific set of duties. Those duties do not include running people out of business. The mining industry in New Mexico has been destroyed systematically over the last probably decade. New Mexico has the second largest reserves of uranium in the entire country, and possibly the largest. We don't have a single uranium mine. Does that make any sense?
Mm-mm.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
As far as, there's some big discoveries of helium in northwestern New Mexico. Well, the state of New Mexico is talking about having a moratorium on natural gas wells. Well, natural gas wells is typically where we get our helium from.
And there's a worldwide shortage of helium, if I'm understanding things correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Natural gas is $5 or $6 an MCF, and helium's 180. So yeah, helium potentially that could be a big boom for northwestern New Mexico, and particularly on the Navajo reservation up there.
Mm-hmm.
And since they've just lost their coal-fired power plant, that didn't help matters either. The coal mining, the copper mining would be a big asset in New Mexico, not near as big as oil and gas, but it could be a huge contributor. We've got 5 different rare earth minerals that we're not mining at all in New Mexico. Those are critical for your renewable resources, things like that. As far as your wind farms and your solar farms and stuff like that, obviously I support those industries, but we don't need to outlaw everything else and make those, the king of the hill, because the technology simply is not there. Now, if that technology continues to improve and the technology for batteries gets better, if it's ever better than oil and gas, then by all means, let's use it. No different than, cars are better than wagons.
Right.
But that's how capitalism works. If it's actually better, it'll be cheaper and more people will use it. We have the greatest system of government in the history of man. We also have the greatest economic system, which is capitalism. I'm a firm believer in capitalism. You could probably tell that pretty quick.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. So you mentioned that the land office has not necessarily been a revenue generator for the state. Have you looked at the actual numbers as far as what it contributes to the state budget? Has it, in real numbers, has it been on a decline the last few years?
Well, what we have right now, and Garcia Richards, and I typically don't mention the other candidates, but in this case, the existing state land office, they do brag that they've had record-setting revenue for the last 3 years. Well, that is true, but what they're using that for is to cover up the fact that they're running the small independent guys out of business. You and I both know when this big shale boom in southern New Mexico, when it starts tapering off, those wells typically get sold to the smaller companies that run more efficiently or are willing to do a little bit more to get a little bit more oil out of the ground, which hence the name stripper well. Well, they're running the small guys out of business so fast, there's not going to be anybody to take those wells and continue to generate revenue for the state of New Mexico. And then we're going to realize, basically in our world, we would say that the chickens are going to come home to roost. And that's what's happening. We're covering up a lot of what's going on with just the massive amount of revenue that's being generated. Ironically, that revenue is being generated by an industry that lady hates.
Yeah.
She told me, I was in a debate with her last week, and we get along just fine, sort of. We're pleasant and respectful to each other, but she told me, she said, you could not be more opposite than me and you, and she's right. You couldn't get more opposite of her than me.
Yeah. No,
I'm proud of that.
Well, good. Good for you. So so how do you reverse this? You get elected. How many public lands commissioners are there? And what's the process then to make some of the changes that you would like to make at that office?
There's one land commissioner. The state of New Mexico has one land commissioner.
Just one.
I said, he's got a lot of discretionary authority. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quit canceling leases and I'm going to quit looking for reasons to cancel leases. I've got friends in that Artesia area. They've had wells that their dad gave them. They get a letter in the mail said, hey, this lease has been canceled. If you go on your well, it's trespassing. Call us when you're ready to plug the well. We'll give you permission to get on your well and plug it. And that's not a one or a two time. That has happened numerous times. You've got one lease over there that was canceled inexplicably, had over 80 wells. It affected 80 different wells that were producing right now. So these leases are getting canceled for various different reasons. I'm not saying we don't go by laws and regulations. What I am saying is we quit destroying people's businesses. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Well, that's the second thing I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fire a bunch of lawyers, and I don't mind saying that publicly.
Yeah.
The lawyers that have been running around canceling these leases, running these guys out of businesses, they need to be held accountable.
And
the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stop the bleeding. And I hate to be controversial, but we can't compromise anymore. We're out of options. There's several guys living right there in Artesia that have been put out of business simply because of activities from the state land. We're going to stop that. The changes that I will make, like I said, I'm going to get back to generating revenue, be a supporter and advocate of the companies or the people that generate revenue, and just get back to what the state land office is supposed to be. Get the partisan politics out of there. Just go to work.
All right.
Put my boots on and go to work.
We've got about a minute and a half. Larry, your name is not on the ballot. You're an independent write-in.
Yes, sir.
People decide they like what they're hearing. They want to vote for you. How does that process work?
Okay, you go like you're going to vote regular. You get your ballot. You go down there and you find the section that says Commissioner of Public Lands. There's 3 names on there. There's the Republican, the Democrat, and then there's a spot for the declared write-in candidate. You color in the oval and you just write my name right there. Write Larry Marker. If you can't remember Larry, just write Marker. Write it right there on that line. You can write it on top of the words that are there, but color in the oval. Write in Larry Marker. Write in Larry Marker in the spot that says declared write-in candidate. I know this is a long shot, but it actually has proven to be a really good thing. I've got a lot of momentum in that Albuquerque area, Rio Rancho, Valencia County. I'm doing really well. We're going to surprise people, and we actually have a good shot at winning this. I've spent a lot of time in northern New Mexico, mainly that Albuquerque area, and obviously I have some solid support here. I did grow up here, and